Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 976 Mom, someone is abusing the dog. The morning glow illuminated half the sky. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi held hands and looked at the beautiful scene in the east. Because of an inexplicable emotion. At this moment, it seemed as if time had stopped, and only each other's figures were in their eyes. The two slowly approached, hugged each other, touched each other's lips, couldn't help themselves. And the camera that had been set up long ago recorded this beautiful and eternal scene. At this time, Zhang Anmin and Li Yangwei were standing not far away, staring at the rising sun. After a long period of absent-mindedness, the heart was also full of vigorous emotions. Wow! It's so beautiful! Zhang Anmin murmured to himself. Then he and Li Yangwei looked at each other, and were about to call Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to share the joy in their hearts. The two looked back, but saw the scene of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi forgetting themselves. Oh, this. The two opened their mouths for a while, but the words reached their throats but were swallowed hard. After a moment of stunned, Zhang Anmin murmured. Mom, someone is abusing dogs. Woo 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 woo. Then he and Li Yangwei, the two abused people, hugged each other and cried. It's too much bullying. Woo 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 woo. After a long time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi separated. Zhang Yuxi came back to her senses, her little face flushed, as if dyed red by the morning glow. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's cute appearance and gently took her into his arms. The two of them snuggled up and looked at the beautiful scenery in the east, like a pair of immortal lovers, so happy. This made Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin suffer. The two stood not far away, in the picture, as if they were redundant, with nowhere to put. Half an hour later, the sun had risen completely. The warm morning sun fell on the few people, dispelling the originally somewhat cool bodies. Under the sunlight, the clouds and mist were steaming, and the whole mountain seemed to float above the sky. It was beautiful, as if you were in a fairyland, making it difficult to distinguish between reality and illusion. Around 7 o'clock. After watching the sunrise and appreciating the scenery on the top of the mountain, several people took countless photos and were satisfied and ready to go down the mountain. After all, they got up too early and needed to go back to the hotel to catch up on some sleep. During the descent, the mountain air was particularly fresh in the early morning. Several people slowed down, breathed in the fresh air, and listened to the chirping of insects and birds. Along the way, they enjoyed the beautiful scenery in the mountains, leisurely and comfortable, and extremely comfortable. Everyone felt that the trip was worthwhile. Along the way, Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin were inevitably stuffed with dog food countless times. Along the way, the two kept shouting in protest. But the protest was ineffective. The two were constantly stuffed with dog food, and their hearts gradually became numb. But more, they secretly made up their minds that they would find a girlfriend after returning. No other. The taste of being stuffed with dog food was too uncomfortable. Envy, jealousy and hatred. At this moment, the two seemed to have repeated the scene of Jeju being abused during the trip to Mount Emily. Whoever was abused knows. It was really too tormenting. The two quickly quickened their pace, leaving Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi far behind. Out of sight, out of mind. Soon, the four of them returned to the foot of the mountain. Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin got into the car expressionlessly, stepped on the accelerator, and left quickly. Oh, puff. He. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at their figures leaving quickly and couldn't help laughing. Soon the two got on the car. Lin Feng started the car and left. In the rearview mirror, the majestic peak of Mount Tai gradually blurred. Only the shallow wheel mark proved that several people had been here. Soon, the two returned to the hotel. Catcha. After returning to the room, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi simply washed up and went to bed to rest. They needed to catch up on a nap and then set off again in the afternoon. Otherwise, it would not be safe to drive in this mental state. Zhang Yuxi huddled in Lin Feng's arms and soon fell asleep. Lin Feng smiled. It seems that this little fool is really tired. After Lin Feng kissed her on the face, he also closed his eyes and fell asleep quickly. He slept soundly. When Lin Feng woke up, it was already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The checkout time had passed. It is estimated that the hotel front desk has already called, but the two of them were too asleep to hear it. In this case, there is no need to rush. The overtime room fee will be paid later. Lin Feng got out of bed gently. He took the mobile phone, walked out of the room and came to the balcony. After thinking for a while, he dialed Li Yangwei's number. Beep beep. The phone rang for a long time before it was connected. Hello, who is this? Lin Feng. It's me. It's already 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's time to get up. Lin Feng said helplessly. Oh, brother Feng. Well, let me sleep a little longer. I'm really too tired. Li Yangwei said weakly. Lin Feng shook his head and smiled helplessly. These two guys didn't sleep last night and climbed the mountain for such a long time. It's strange that they are not tired. Okay, you guys sleep for a while. We'll eat something later and then set off. Lin Feng said helplessly. Okay, thank you brother Feng. Li Yangwei said dazedly. After that, there was no sound on the other end of the phone. Lin Feng guessed that he fell asleep again. So he hung up the phone and walked back to the room. Lin Feng came to Zhang Yuxi. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's eyelashes trembled and she woke up. She opened her eyes and saw Lin Feng. She smiled gently. Lin Feng, you're awake. Yes. Little lazy pig, have you slept enough? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a doting face and said. Hate it, you are the little lazy pig. If I'm a little lazy pig, you're a big lazy pig, Zhang Yuxi snorted tenderly. Hey. Okay, my Yuxi is so beautiful, how could she be your lazy pig? If she is also a sleeping beauty, Lin Feng joked with a smile. Then the two of them played and frolicked on the bed. Zhang Yuxi suddenly felt hungry. So she said coquettishly. Dad, I'm hungry. Hiss. Lin Feng almost bit his tongue. He didn't expect Zhang Yuxi to say this. The last time he used his special tricks to force her to say this, he was willing to say it. Now, this. Who can stand it? Lin Feng almost rushed over. Big fool. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's silly look and couldn't help laughing. The two of them started playing and frolicking again. This scene was so sweet that it made people sick. After playing for a while, the two got up. After all, Lin Feng couldn't bear to let Zhang Yuxi go hungry. Just like before, Zhang Yuxi jumped on Lin Feng like an octopus and stuck to his chest firmly. Lin Feng smiled. There was nothing he could do to her, so he just carried her in his arms and went to wash up. Chapter 977 A Good Song. After the two finished washing up, Zhang Yuxi reluctantly got off Lin Feng. Then the two changed their clothes, picked up their luggage and prepared to go out. During this time, Lin Feng had already called Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmen. After going downstairs of the hotel, the few people quickly checked out and immediately went to a restaurant next to the hotel, ordered a table of dishes and ate. Looking at Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmen wolfing down, Lin Feng smiled helplessly. These two guys, after sleeping for so long, seemed to be really hungry. After eating, the few people set off immediately. After all, it was late, because they had slept enough. There was no problem driving at night, just pay attention. Driving all the way, enjoying the night view, they soon left the territory of Taishan and got on the highway. At about 10 o'clock in the evening, everyone finally arrived at the next destination. Ximen. Rest here for a night, and drive another day tomorrow to reach the capital. The four drove all the way to the hotel booked in advance. After putting away the luggage, everyone planned to experience the characteristics of Ximen, the music tavern, and have some midnight snacks. After arriving at the music tavern, several people ordered some snacks casually, and ordered a dozen beers. They listened to the music on the stage and drank while enjoying it. Not to mention that the snacks in this music tavern tasted really good, especially the salt and pepper duck chin and the typhoon shelter fried crab, which were very delicious. Several people chatted, drank small wine, and listened to music, feeling very comfortable. Brother Feng, we will be in Beijing tomorrow, right? Li Yangwei took a sip of wine and asked Lin Feng with a smile. Well, we will be in Beijing tomorrow. Beijing, that's the foot of the emperor. I haven't been there since I grew up. Zhang Yanmen said excitedly. Beijing, Lin Feng has never been there in this life. In the previous life, Lin Feng went there several times on business trips. Several people chatted casually. At this time, a commotion suddenly came from the stage. Huh? Question mark. Lin Feng felt a little strange, so he turned his head and looked over. This is. Hello, everyone, we are Wanqing Hotel. Next, we will bring you a song from our new album. Kill that shaman man Wanqing Hotel? Lin Feng felt familiar, as if he had heard it somewhere. It turned out to be them. Lin Feng remembered. This song Kill That Shaman Man was very popular in the previous life. When Lin Feng was decadent, he played it on repeat and used it as a snack. Wanqing Hotel is a group of idle people living in Rock hometown. Then the lead singer introduced the background of the song. This song describes the loss and anger of the northern heavy industrial city after the changes of the times and the forgotten or abandoned groups. Next, please enjoy the performance. Please forgive me if there are any shortcomings. The music started. The lead singer closed his eyes tightly, as if he was brewing emotions. Then he gently picked up the microphone and put it to his mouth, and the voice came out slowly. I get off work at 6 p.m., change my clothes from the pharmaceutical factory, my wife is cooking porridge, I go drink a few bottles of beer. The voice is like whispering in your ear, or like a straightforward speech, whispering about the most ordinary daily life. But it suddenly evokes people's emotions and puts them into that picture. Then the voice suddenly rises, then falls, gently and orderly. Live like this for 30 years, until the building collapses, the darkness deepened the clouds, drowning the scenery in my heart. It's like telling a story face to face. In the music bar, the emotions of all the people present were aroused, listening to the song quietly, immersed in the world of the meaning of the lyrics, especially the 34-year-old middle-aged men in Shimen, who can better understand the emotions contained in the lyrics. Lin Feng's heart is also surging at this moment. The song tells a family living a false middle-class warm life. The first paragraph describes the indifferent father, the second paragraph describes the desperate mother, and the third paragraph describes the child who has not yet been tamed. This song may represent the person born in the 1980s, who personally experienced the process of turning from prosperity to decline. The education they received was pure ideals and romanticism, but all they saw was money supremacy and desire worship. Born in ideals, died in desires is the best portrayal of this generation. Killing the shaman man is actually a description of this state. Shimen was a famous industrial city in those days, and the pharmaceutical factory was the symbol of this city. Tens of thousands of pharmaceutical factory workers lived in a monotonous life. They went to get off work and came home every day, without any extra entertainment, and a few bottles of beer were enough to comfort them. It was not until the economic transformation in the 1990s that a large number of workers were laid off and lost their livelihoods. The collapse of the building not only refers to the economic transformation, but also to the family income and the iron rice bowl lost. Simple life suddenly became complicated. From the days without intrigue, a few bottles of beer every day could be very satisfying, suddenly became everyone's selfish life. It was as if from modern society, they suddenly returned to the jungle and had to face the problem of filling their stomachs and survival. Perhaps what people miss most is the simplicity of the past. After singing a song, some people have already burst into tears. Even Zhang Anmin, a heartless man, was affected by the atmosphere and emotions present, and a trace of melancholy appeared on his face. He spoke softly to everyone with a complicated expression. This song is too sad, it makes me want to cry. Yes, I feel that the meaning of the lyrics is all sung with sincerity. It is obviously a very ordinary song, but it seems to have magic and arouse people's emotions. Liang Yi also spoke slowly. Zhang Yuxi reached out and held Lin Feng's hand tightly at this time, and the emotions in her heart were also clear at a glance. This is indeed a good song. Lin Feng nodded sincerely and spoke softly. After this song, the Wanqing Hotel band left the stage. A new group of people came on stage, and cheerful music sounded. The melancholy in the music tavern soon disappeared and returned to the previous liveliness. After drinking a few more bottles of wine, several people got up and left. After leaving the music tavern, several people planned to walk back to the hotel. The night breeze blew away the slight drunkenness of several people, and seemed to take away everyone's fatigue for the day. After returning to the hotel, they separated and went back to their own rooms to wash and rest. Let's put an end to today's unhappiness. Tomorrow will still be bright. Tomorrow is another new day, a beautiful day. After Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi said goodnight to each other, they hugged each other and fell asleep deeply. Chapter 978 Quandrad Roast Duck. There was no conversation that night. Early the next morning, Lin Feng woke up as usual. He glanced at the slightly bright sky outside the window of the room, and then glanced at Zhang Yuxi who was still sleeping soundly. This little fool, how can she sleep so well? Lin Feng smiled. Then he tiptoed out of bed. He gently opened the door of the room and walked out. Lin Feng took the room card, mobile phone and wallet and went out. He planned to buy some steamed buns, porridge and the like, so that Zhang Yuxi could eat directly when she woke up. I drank some wine last night and need to warm my stomach. Lin Feng went downstairs to the hotel. There was a breakfast shop along the street opposite the hotel. So Lin Feng chose a shop that looked good and packed 6 breakfasts. As for why he packed 6, Zhang Yanmin's appetite can finish 2 by himself. If he buys less, he probably won't be full. After buying breakfast, Lin Feng went back to the hotel slowly and leisurely. Lin Feng first came to Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin's room with breakfast. Dong, dong, dong. Soon Li Yangwei rubbed his sleepy eyes and opened the door. As for Zhang Yanmin, he was still sleeping soundly. After giving breakfast to Li Yangwei, Lin Feng continued to go upstairs and returned to the room. After putting down the breakfast, Lin Feng washed his hands and walked into the room. Zhang Yuxi was still sleeping with a smile on her face. Lin Feng smiled and kissed Zhang Yuxi on the face. Zhang Yuxi frowned, looking very cute. Then Zhang Yuxi's eyelashes trembled and slowly opened her eyes. She was a little confused. Seeing Lin Feng's handsome face with a smile in front of her, a sweet smile appeared on her face. Little fool, wake up. Lin Feng smiled gently. Yes. Zhang Yuxi smiled and nodded. Then she sat up and opened her arms and said coquettishly, "Hubby, I want a hug." "Okay, okay, okay. Hubby, hug." Lin Feng said with a doting look. Then he picked up Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi hugged Lin Feng's neck tightly and smiled happily. After a while of tenderness, the two went to wash up. After washing up, the two sat on the sofa in the living room and ate breakfast. After finishing, they packed up their things, went downstairs to check out, and continued to set off. Soon the two went downstairs with their luggage. Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin were already waiting downstairs. After checking out of the room, they got in the car and continued to set off in the sun at 8 o'clock in the morning. According to the route, they would take a break at the service area at noon, and they would arrive in Beijing at about 7 o'clock in the evening. Everything was going smoothly as planned. Time passed quickly, and soon it was 6:30 in the afternoon. Everyone had passed the toll station in Beijing, and Beijing was just around the corner. Just after passing the toll station, Lin Feng felt a strong and heavy historical and cultural atmosphere coming towards him. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were full of expectations for the 4-year college life here. After a burst of acceleration, the car soon entered the main urban area. After entering the main urban area, Lin Feng slowed down the car. The two looked at the scene in the city, which was indeed quite different from the Magic City. It was indeed an ancient capital with rich history and culture. Many tall and modern buildings can be seen everywhere, and in the middle of these buildings are ancient buildings and parks with red bricks and green tiles. There are vast lakes and exquisite bridges in the park. Various beautiful lights decorate the ancient capital, such as lighting lamps, lawn lamps, fountain lamps, fireworks lamps, and so on, countless. It can be imagined that every night, these lights will make the entire capital city golden and magnificent. Soon, several people drove all the way to the hotel that had been booked in advance. But to be honest, the prices here are indeed relatively more expensive than other places. Lin Feng still booked a suite, and the room rate of 3,000 yuan a night is estimated to make many people discouraged. But for Lin Feng, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what matters is a comfortable life. Money or not, if you lose it, you can earn it again. It's not a big deal. The same is true for Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmin. They are all rich people. Since they come to play, they have to enjoy it. Soon, after checking in, they went upstairs to put their luggage. After putting down their luggage, they simply washed up and washed off the dust along the way, and then they came to the hotel lobby to meet up. As for what to do next? Of course, it's to enjoy the food. Several people plan to experience the world-famous Beijing roast duck first. When it comes to Beijing roast duck, we have to talk about Quanzhou. Quanzhou now has many branches in Beijing. However, the front store of Quanzhou is the origin store of the Quanzhou brand. It was built in 1864 and has a history of more than 100 years. Several people plan to go to this front store. Just do it, don't plan to drive. After all, several people are not familiar with Beijing. Although Li Yangwei is the grandson of that person, he is a native of Shanghai. He grew up in Shanghai since he was a child. Although he has been to Beijing many times, he is no match for the local taxi drivers. That's the real Beijing people. They know all about the fun and delicious places in Beijing. So they went out and called a taxi, and led by the driver, they rushed to Quanzhou roast duck. The driver was very enthusiastic on the way. Seeing that they were unfamiliar and outsiders, he introduced them in detail the fun places in Beijing, and reminded them which places were just for show to prevent them from stepping on thunder. The enthusiasm of Beijing people, which they had only learned from books before, now they have experienced it personally, and it is true. Soon they arrived at the front store of Quanzhou roast duck. This is an old store, and you can see how old it is from the outside. Then they got off the car and said goodbye to the taxi driver, and walked into the store with excitement. After entering the store, they entered a private room under the guidance of the waiter. Of course, they came here to eat roast duck. Seeing Zhang Anmin's eager look, Lin Feng ordered 2 roast ducks, which made the waiter afraid that they could not finish them. Unfortunately, he realized later that he had underestimated Zhang Anmin's fighting power. Then he ordered some special side dishes. Everyone drank tea and waited for the dishes to come. Brother Feng, I think this duck looks very delicious. I guess I can finish 2 by myself, he. Oh, you guy, you are already so fat, and you are still eating so hard, be careful to turn into a ball. Liang Yi smiled and joked. Okay, eat as much as you can, and I will give you more if it's not enough later. Lin Feng said with a blank look at Zhang Anmin. Soon the roast duck was served, and the chef cut it on the spot. The knife skills made everyone amazed. Zhang Anmin's saliva almost flowed out. Just as everyone was about to enjoy the food. In the Beijing family compound, Lin Feng's information appeared on the desk of a middle-aged man who looked extremely majestic. Chapter 979 Lin Feng's uncle. The middle-aged man with a dignified face picked up the information about Lin Feng on the table and looked through it. He lay dormant in the early stage, and was ordinary. He rose a few months before the college entrance examination. The top scorer in the national college entrance examination. He is worth hundreds of millions. The living Buddha personally met him. Interesting. It seems that my nephew is also an extraordinary person. The middle-aged man smiled and muttered to himself. But Lin Feng had no way of knowing all this. Even if he knew that his information had been exposed, Lin Feng didn't care. He had a system and was a reborn person, and he was confident that no one knew it. As for his sudden rise, isn't it easy to explain? He was originally so powerful and low-key, but now he doesn't want to be low-key. Isn't it allowed? Anyway, he hasn't done anything shocking, so he can't be suspected. At most, he thinks he is better and smarter than ordinary people. It's a genius. There is no other way, the power of genius is beyond your imagination. At this time, Lin Feng is tasting the wonderful taste of Quanzhou roast duck. Roast duck has a long history. According to records, the word roast duck appeared in food records during the Northern and Southern dynasties more than 400 years ago. In the Southern Song dynasty, roast duck was already a famous product in Linen, HZ city food. In fact, roast duck has not only become a folk delicacy, but also a delicacy in the homes of literati. But later, according to the history of Yuan dynasty, after the Yuan dynasty conquered Linen, the Yuan general Boyan moved the skills of hundreds of craftsmen in Linen city to Dadu, the capital, and thus the roast duck technology was spread to the capital, and roast duck became one of the rare delicacies of the Yuan palace. With the change of dynasties, roast duck became a delicacy in the courts of Ming and Qing dynasties. In the Ming dynasty, roast duck was still a must-have delicacy for the Lantern Festival in the palace, and was later officially named Beijing roast duck. With the development of society, Beijing roast duck gradually spread from the palace to the people. Lin Feng and others looked at the roast duck in front of them, which made people salivate. According to the chef who sliced the duck, this roast duck is very particular. The ingredients are high-quality meat ducks, roasted over fruit wood charcoal, with a ruddy color and fat but not greasy meat. The roasted duck is plump in appearance, reddish in color, with crispy skin, charred outside and tender inside, and has a fragrance of fruit wood. This is the real Beijing roast duck. Several people tasted a piece without touching anything. Hiss. Crispy outside and tender inside, the taste is just right, so delicious that you almost bite off your tongue. Although it is okay to eat it directly, the more authentic way to eat it is to wrap it with dough and eat it with side dishes, which is another flavor. The waiter on the side enthusiastically helped several people roll the roast duck. And Lin Feng learned that at a glance, after all, this thing is actually very simple. Lin Feng handed the rolled roast duck to Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly and took it. Provoke. This scene made Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmin want to cry. This dog food exists all the time. It's too difficult. In addition to the roast duck, the other dishes taste very good. It really deserves to be the capital where the emperor lived back then. Food is everywhere. Most of the last 2 roast ducks went into Jiang Anmin's stomach. Lin Feng shook his head and smiled. This guy's belly was so bulging from eating, like a pregnant woman who was pregnant for several months. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing. After eating this meal, they were very satisfied. Quanzhou is really worthy of its reputation. After dinner, they planned to go to Xianan Square to feel the breath of the great man. Let's go. After Lin Feng paid the bill, they called a taxi again and set off. Along the way, the taxi driver shuttled freely in the traffic, and even took a shortcut through the alley. In fact, Lin Feng has always had a question in his mind: why are these taxi drivers so good at driving? Almost every taxi driver is like this, with driving skills comparable to those of professional racing drivers. No matter what terrain, the taxi can handle it. Practice makes perfect? It seems that only this explanation is more reasonable. Soon the taxi arrived at Xianan Square. After getting off the car, they saw the huge square. At this time, there were many people strolling around the square at night. Xianan Square is located in the center of Beijing. The south side of the Forbidden City faces Xianan Square across Chang'an Avenue and is the gate of the imperial city of the Ming and Qing dynasties. Walking into the magnificent Xianan Square, stop in front of the viewing platform and look south. The colonnade and buildings of the memorial hall are brilliant and bright, like huge jade sculptures standing in the square. The apricot yellow glass tile eaves are like 2 golden rainbows across the sky. The 44 surrounding columns of the square guangsha are like jade pillars supporting the sky. The bright doors and windows between the jade pillars reflect the beautiful sunlight, glittering like a 1,000-foot waterfall. The jujube red base and white jade railings seem to be red clouds and white clouds, setting off this simple and majestic building, making it taller and more upright and magnificent. As they walked, several people felt a combination of ancient art and modernity, and they were all amazed. This combination did not give people a sense of abruptness at all, but felt just right. As they were walking, they suddenly found a group of soldiers in front of them, marching in a uniform formation. These are the soldiers who defend China. Such temperament and demeanor, a real man should be like this. Then suddenly a middle-aged man with a dignified face came towards them. There were also several orderly soldiers behind him. He soon walked in front of Lin Feng and the others. They were all confused. Li Yangwei was also confused. It seemed that the old man didn't say hello to him when he came to Beijing this time. Was he here to find him? But he saw the dignified middle-aged man in front of him, but at this time he looked at Lin Feng with a complicated look. Lin Feng's heart moved, as if he thought of something. He spoke calmly. "Hello, what can I do for you?" The middle-aged man glanced and then slowly spoke. "You are Lin Feng, right?" Now Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmin were a little confused. Is this man here to find Lin Feng? And Zhang Yuxi seemed to have thought of something at this time. She didn't speak, but she tightened her hand that was originally holding Lin Feng a little. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi and signaled her not to worry. Then Lin Feng turned to look at the middle-aged man and spoke calmly. "Well, I am. What can I do for you?" "Lin Feng, that? I am your uncle." The middle-aged man spoke slowly. "What?" At this time, Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmin were extremely shocked. They could meet Lin Feng's uncle here? Exclamation mark. Lin Feng looked straight at the middle-aged man and said lightly, "Sorry, I don't have an uncle." Li Yangwei. Jiang Anmin. As soon as Lin Feng said this, the middle-aged man looked embarrassed. He spoke a little embarrassedly. "Oh, Lin Feng, whether you will recognize it or not, I am still your mother's brother and your uncle. Come to the military family compound when you have time to see your aunt and your cousin." The middle-aged man stretched out his hand to pat Lin Feng's shoulder, hesitated and let it go. "I still have work here, so I'll leave first. If you encounter any difficulties in Beijing, come to me at any time." After saying that, he turned and left. Lin Feng looked at him calmly without saying a word. Chapter 980. My period is coming. Ah. After the middle-aged man walked away, Lin Feng sighed deeply. Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmin looked puzzled, but they didn't dare to ask. Zhang Yuxi pulled Lin Feng's hand, looking worried. Lin Feng turned to Zhang Yuxi and smiled gently, rubbed her little head, and spoke softly. Little fool, don't worry, I'm fine. Then he waved his hand and said to the few people, let's go too. After walking for a while, the few people were tired. They found a dessert shop near the square and sat down. Lin Feng and the others drank dessert. Seeing that Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmen were hesitant to speak, Lin Feng said unhappily, just say whatever you want to say. Jiang Anmen was too straightforward to hold back his words, so he spoke hurriedly. Brother Feng, was that man really your uncle just now? Li Yangwei also spoke when he saw this. Brother Feng, that man just now seemed to be of a high level. Lin Feng glanced at the two of them. He spoke softly. That man is my uncle. But I haven't seen him, and I don't even know his name, and I don't know what he is like. Lin Feng spread his hands, looking helpless. Oh, this. Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmen looked at each other, a little bewildered, not knowing what to say. Well, anyway, things are a bit complicated, let's not talk about him, and what he does has nothing to do with me. Then he smiled at Zhang Yuxi and said gently, wife, are you tired? If you are tired, let's go back to the hotel to rest. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly at Lin Feng, and then nodded. Jiang Anmen. Li Yangwei. Who can be spared by heaven? What a sin. These two people are showing off their love all the time. They are full without even eating dessert. Both of them looked like they had eaten lemons, and their hearts were extremely sour. Then, several people got up and prepared to take a taxi back to the hotel. Tomorrow, several people planned to visit the Forbidden City and feel what the residence of the Emperor in history was like. After returning to the hotel, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi sat on the sofa. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and spoke softly. Lin Feng, your uncle's matter. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and smiled. Little fool, I'm fine. As I said just now, from the beginning when they treated my parents like that, it was destined that they had nothing to do with me. So, don't care about them. Isn't our family good now? We don't have to worry about food and clothing. My mother has also resigned, and I'll ask my dad to take her on a trip when we have time. Life is pretty good. Zhang Yuxi nodded when she saw Lin Feng say this, and didn't say anything more. Anyway, she would support Lin Feng no matter what he did. This is called husband and wife are of one mind, and their strength can break gold. Haha. Then Lin Feng saw that it was getting late, so he asked Zhang Yuxi to take a shower first. Zhang Yuxi nodded and got up to take a shower. Lin Feng was playing with his mobile phone boredly. He thought about it and decided to call his mother and tell her about this. So he picked up his phone, stood up and walked to the balcony to call his mother Jo Killen. Beep beep. The phone rang a few times before it was connected. Hello, son. Jo Killen said happily on the other end of the phone. Hello, Mom, is everything okay at home? Lin Feng also smiled and said. Yes, everything is fine at home. I was just thinking about you with your dad, and I didn't expect you to call me. Mom, I'm already in Beijing, everything is fine, you and my dad don't have to worry about us. It's good that you're here, it's good that you're here, that's it, where's Yuxi? Mom, talk to her. Jo Killen said with a smile. Yuxi went to take a shower, we're fine, don't worry. Lin Feng said. By the way, Mom, that's it, I saw my uncle. Lin Feng just finished speaking. Jo Killen on the other end of the phone was silent. After a moment of silence, Jo Killen slowly spoke. Well, which uncle did you meet? Oh, that, I really don't know. I met him by chance, a middle-aged man with a dignified face. Lin Feng said helplessly. He really didn't know which one it was, after all, he had never met him. Oh, that should be your uncle, Chen Zhangguo, he works at the top, and he has a dignified face all day long. Did he say anything? Jo Killen hesitated and asked. Oh, he didn't say anything, just told me to go to the military district family compound when I have time to see my aunt and cousin. I just said that I don't have an uncle. He recognized the wrong person. Lin Feng answered truthfully. Oh, son, actually, you don't have to blame your uncle for these things, they can't do anything about it. The whole family is ruled by your grandfather. He is old and stubborn, and they can't do anything about it. It's not good to disobey. Jo Killen persuaded Lin Feng. Lin Feng was silent. He thinking of the miserable situation of his family in the previous life, he couldn't forgive his grandfather and his family. Jo Killen knew Lin Feng's temper was also stubborn. Once he made up his mind, it would be difficult to change. so she didn't say anything more. Then she spoke softly. Son, I won't say much about this matter. Just be careful and don't have any conflicts with him. Also, you and Yuxi must take good care of yourselves when you are outside, especially since Yuxi is a girl. You must take good care of her, otherwise I won't forgive you. Zhou Qilin warned. Yes, Mom, don't worry, I will take good care of Yuxi and myself, don't worry. Lin Feng promised seriously. Lin Feng. Lin Feng. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's voice called him from the bathroom. He quickly spoke to his mother Zhou Qilin. Mom, Yuxi called me, I'll hang up first. You and my dad should also take care of your health, especially my dad. Tell him not to be too tired, and watch him smoke and drink, and let him remember what he promised me. Lin Feng said in one breath. Well, go quickly. Zhou Qilin replied. After that, she hung up the phone. Lin Feng took the phone and hurried to the bathroom. Yuxi, what's wrong? Lin Feng asked softly. Lin Feng, my period is coming. Zhang Yuxi's somewhat shy voice came from the bathroom. What? Your period is coming. Where is she? Do we need to pick her up? Lin Feng asked in surprise. Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng, you big fool. I'm not talking about that. Really? It's so embarrassing. Big fool. The period I'm talking about is that. Zhang Yuxi's shy voice came again. Chapter 981 Being Considered a Pervert. Which one is that? Lin Feng asked in confusion. That's the one that girls have every month. Zhang Yuxi was so anxious that she almost cried. This big idiot. It's so embarrassing. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was in the bathroom. Her little face was red, like a ripe apple. Oh. I know. Sorry, my dear wife, I didn't react for a while. Zhang Yuxi stomped her feet. Huh? You still say? Zhang Yuxi felt that her face was about to be burned. My dear wife, do you need me to do anything? Lin Feng was not a fool. Since Zhang Yuxi asked him to come, it was probably to do something for him. I didn't bring any menstrual paper, can you help me buy some? Zhang Yuxi's delicate voice came out again. Lin Feng could imagine that Zhang Yuxi's little face must be red with shyness at this moment. I'll go buy it. Okay. I'll go now, my dear wife, please hold on for a while and wait for me to come back. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he hurried to the living room to get the room card and hurried out. Oh, hold on for a while. Lin Feng, you big fool. What are you talking about? Zhang Yuxi hid in the bathroom, covering her face with her hands, so shy that she wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. Here, Lin Feng thought the elevator was too slow, so he hurried down the stairs. He ran to the street, searched for a while, and finally found a 24-hour convenience store. He rushed in, so fast that the clerk was scared and thought he was robbed. Lin Feng, like a headless Kayang, searched in the convenience store for a while. Finally found the sanitary napkins on a shelf. Lin Feng looked at the sanitary napkins of various brands and models on the shelf, and his head was suddenly big. Oops, I forgot to ask Yuxi which one to buy. He picked up a pack of 7 dimensions and took a look, then took a pack of juggling and took a look. He was a little confused. What the hell is this extended and enlarged? And cotton, yarn. Daily use, night use, this is easy to understand. Lin Feng stood beside the shelf with a confused look on his face. If someone saw Lin Feng's appearance at this time, they would definitely call him a pervert. Lin Feng looked at the girl at the cashier in front of him. He couldn't ask her, right? Hey, beautiful, what kind of sanitary napkins do you usually use? Like this? This would probably make him a pervert and call the police to arrest him. Zhang Yuxi is still waiting for her rescue. Lin Feng thought about it, and he made up his mind. He decided. Buy one of each brand and each type, this must be right? Exclamation mark. So he took a shopping basket from the side. He took a pack of each brand and each type of sanitary napkins. Then the whole shopping basket was filled. Lin Feng made up his mind, die or die. He was cruel and tried to make himself look calm. He walked towards the cashier with a basket of sanitary napkins. Just as he put the basket of sanitary napkins on the cashier girl was stunned. She looked at Lin Feng with a strange look in her eyes. Lin Feng felt so ashamed, but on the surface he pretended to be calm. He said lightly, "Hello, help me check out." Oh. The cashier girl came back to her senses. She hurriedly helped Lin Feng to check out the goods. At this time, an old lady came in and seemed to want to buy sanitary napkins. She walked to the shelf and saw that there were only a few packs left. Oh my! Is sanitary napkins so out of stock now? The voice was quite loud, and Lin Feng heard it while standing at the cashier. Lin Feng quickly paid the money and even said he didn't want to change. He hurriedly picked up the big bag of sanitary napkins and ran away. Ran away. The cashier girl looked at Lin Feng's disappearing figure, shook her head helplessly, and looked regretful. This man is quite handsome. It's a pity that he seems to have some special fetishes. What a pity. Lin Feng carried a large bag of sanitary napkins and trotted back to the hotel like a thief. He didn't even take the elevator, for fear of running into someone again. He still remembered the strange look of the cashier girl just now. It seems that he was really regarded as a pervert. Lin Feng felt a little bitter in his heart. Catcha. Lin Feng returned to the hotel room. Huh? He was relieved. These short 20 minutes were really torture. He hurriedly carried the large bag of sanitary napkins to the bathroom and shouted inside. Wife, my dear wife, I bought it back. Zhi. The bathroom door slowly opened a gap, and Zhang Yuxi's little hand stretched out from inside. Oh, wife, well, it's a bit too much. You have to open it wider. Lin Feng said awkwardly. Zhang Yuxi. This bad guy, he doesn't want to. Oh, so embarrassing. But she still opened the bathroom door a little wider. Lin Feng handed over the whole bag of sanitary napkins. Zhang Yuxi took it and quickly closed the door. Oh, Lin Feng shook his head. This little fool. So shy. Zhang Yuxi in the bathroom looked at the big bag of sanitary napkins in her hand and was a little confused. This big idiot. Is he going to buy up all the sanitary napkins in the supermarket? Zhang Yuxi shook her head helplessly. Then she picked out the one she often used and quickly dealt with it. A few minutes later, Zhang Yuxi came out carrying the big bag. She saw Lin Feng standing at the door of the bathroom in a daze. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. Big idiot. Oh. Lin Feng came back to his senses. He glanced at Zhang Yuxi and smiled a little embarrassedly. Well, I don't know which one to buy, so. Pudgy. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing when she saw Lin Feng's silly look. This big idiot is really silly and cute. Oh, Yuxi, let me tell you, I seem to have been treated as a special fetishist just now. Lin Feng said a little aggrieved. Then Lin Feng told Zhang Yuxi the whole story of buying sanitary napkins just now. Hey. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing after hearing it. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi who was laughing with a face full of resentment. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng's aggrieved look and tried hard to hold back her laughter. She opened her arms and hugged Lin Feng in her arms. Okay, my husband is the best to me. I'm really touched. After Zhang Yuxi finished speaking, she couldn't help laughing again when she thought of Lin Feng's appearance in the convenience store. Hey. Chapter 982 Brown Sugar Ginger Tea. Oh. Lin Feng rubbed his head in Zhang Yuxi's arms, feeling the warmth. Forget it, for this sake, I forgive you. Lin Feng comforted himself in his heart. Feeling the strangeness in her arms, Zhang Yuxi's face flushed again. She pushed Lin Feng out and rolled her eyes at him. Seeing that the matter was exposed, Lin Feng pretended to be serious and calm. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng was like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water, and there was nothing she could do to him. This bad guy. Then, Zhang Yuxi popularized the knowledge of menstrual paper to Lin Feng. Lin Feng understood it. It turns out that there are so many ways in it. Being a woman is so hard. Lin Feng gently hugged Zhang Yuxi into his arms and said with a distressed face. My dear wife, you have worked hard. Oh, big fool. What's so hard about this? I'm used to it. Zhang Yuxi responded softly. Lin Feng hugged her again and tightened. The two felt each other's warmth and enjoyed the happiness at this time. Then, Lin Feng suddenly spoke up. Yuxi, I have a way to save you from this hardship for a year. Lin Feng was talking nonsense seriously. Huh? What method? Zhang Yuxi looked up and asked curiously. Well, that's to have a baby. Hey. Lin Feng said with a smirk. Hate it. You just want to bully me. Zhang Yuxi hit Lin Feng, struggled out of his arms, and spoke. Hey. Lin Feng said with a smirk. After the two played for a while, Lin Feng went to take a shower. After all, Zhang Yuxi had her period and needed to rest early. When Lin Feng came out of the shower, he found that Zhang Yuxi had returned to her room and lay on the bed. Lin Feng walked closer and found that Zhang Yuxi's face was a little pale. He felt a little distressed. He knew that this was the reaction that girls would have when they had their periods. So he remembered the teaching videos he saw on a certain short video in his previous life. He thought for a while, walked to the living room, and found an electric kettle in the living room. So he went back to the room and told Zhang Yuxi that he was going to buy something. He told her to wait for him obediently. After changing his clothes, Lin Feng picked up his dollar card and wallet and went out immediately. He returned to the 24-hour convenience store he had just visited. The girl in charge of the cashier was still the same girl. She recognized Lin Feng at a glance. There was no way. Lin Feng's behavior just now left a deep impression on her. The cashier girl looked at Lin Feng with a puzzled look. Why did this guy come again? As soon as he entered the door, Lin Feng asked the girl in charge of the cashier. Hello, do you have brown sugar for sale here? Oh, yes, there is on the shelf in the second row of the right turn in front. The cashier girl replied. Okay, thank you. After Lin Feng finished speaking, he walked to the shelf that the cashier girl mentioned, and sure enough, there was brown sugar here. After he took a bag, he came to the cashier. After thinking about it, he opened his mouth and asked again. Hello, do you have ginger for sale here? Oh, ginger. Sorry, we don't have any here. The cashier girl said apologetically. Oh, is that so? Okay. Lin Feng said with some regret. The cashier girl saw that Lin Feng wanted to buy both brown sugar and ginger, and then thought of Lin Feng's actions just now. It should be that a girl has her period. Then she suddenly realized that he didn't have a special fetish. Seeing that Lin Feng was a little troubled, she spoke softly. Sir, you should want to make brown sugar ginger tea, right? Ah. Well, my fiancée has her period and feels a little uncomfortable. I want to make some brown sugar ginger tea for her to relieve it, Lin Feng said generously. Well, in this case, sir, I suggest you just buy the brown sugar ginger tea in our store. The effect is similar. When I usually feel uncomfortable during my period, I also make that to drink. It's more convenient. The cashier girl said with a smile. Do you have this? Where is it? Lin Feng's eyes lit up and he asked hurriedly. Well, it's on the shelf on the third row on the right in front. The cashier girl said. After hearing this, Lin Feng hurried over there to take a look, and it really was there. So Lin Feng took a bag and came to the cashier and asked. Hello, is it this kind? Well, yes, this kind of effect is quite good. You just buy this, and you don't need brown sugar. Yes, okay, thank you. Lin Feng said with gratitude. You're welcome, sir. Sir, you are so nice to your fiancé. The cashier girl said with a smile on her face. No, this is what I should do. Lin Feng said with a smile. After paying the bill, Lin Feng trotted all the way to the hotel. The cashier girl looked at Lin Feng disappearing and couldn't help sighing in her heart. He's handsome, gentle and considerate. What a good man. I really envy his fiancée. I don't know when my man will appear. Then, the cashier girl laughed at herself and continued to work with her head down. Lin Feng trotted back to the hotel. He quickly cleaned the kettle and boiled a pot of water. Then he made a cup of brown sugar ginger tea and brought it into the bedroom. At this time, Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a pale face. My dear wife, come on, get up and drink some brown sugar ginger tea before going to sleep. Lin Feng said gently. Oh, Zhang Yuxi only realized that Lin Feng was sweating profusely at this moment. It turned out that this big fool just went out to help her get brown sugar ginger tea. A warm current surged in Zhang Yuxi's heart, her eyes were red, and she was so moved that she wanted to cry. Lin Feng looked up and found that Zhang Yuxi's eyes were red. He was shocked and said hurriedly. Wife, what's wrong? Are you uncomfortable? Is it still painful? Looking at Lin Feng's anxious look, Zhang Yuxi was even more touched. She spoke softly. Hubby, you are so good to me. Oh, my little fool, you are my fiancé. If I don't treat you well, who can I treat well? Besides, shouldn't I treat you well? Lin Feng reached out and rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head with one hand, speaking softly and tenderly. Hubby, aren't you afraid that you will spoil me like this? Zhang Yuxi spoke softly. Silly girl, no, even if you spoil me, I am happy. Lin Feng spoke with a doting look on his face. Come on, drink the brown sugar ginger tea while it's hot. The voices of the two people came out of the window and dissipated with the night wind. Only the warm and happy picture of the two people remained in the room. Lin Feng, I love you. Zhang Yuxi spoke softly. Little fool, I love you too. Lin Feng spoke softly. Zhang Yuxi threw herself into Lin Feng's arms and hugged him tightly. Chapter 983 Green Bean Juice. After a while, Lin Feng gently patted Zhang Yuxi's back and spoke softly. Okay, little fool. Hurry up and finish the brown sugar ginger tea, and then go to bed. Yes. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly and nodded. After drinking, Lin Feng took the cup out, washed it and put it away, then entered the room, and the two turned off the lights and went to bed. Hubby, help me warm my stomach. In the dark, Zhang Yuxi spoke softly. Okay. Lin Feng turned sideways and put his hand on Zhang Yuxi's lower abdomen. Feeling the warm touch on her lower abdomen, Zhang Yuxi felt that her stomach didn't seem to hurt so much. Lin Feng felt the soft touch from the palm of his hand, which felt soft, but there was no distracting thoughts in his heart. He gently held Zhang Yuxi in his arms with one hand, and helped her warm her stomach with the other hand. The two fell asleep slowly like this, and slept until dawn. When Lin Feng woke up, Zhang Yuxi was still asleep. Zhang Yuxi was sleeping peacefully with Lin Feng's arm as her pillow. Although Lin Feng's arm was sore, he felt that his hard work was worth it when he saw Zhang Yuxi sleeping so peacefully. After a while, Zhang Yuxi woke up from her sleep. She slowly opened her eyes and found that Lin Feng was looking at her in a daze with a smile on his face. So she gave Lin Feng a sweet smile. Little lazy pig, you're awake. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. Yes. Zhang Yuxi nodded. Are you feeling better? Lin Feng asked with concern. Yes, much better. The main reason is that I just came last night and it hurts. Zhang Yuxi said softly. That's good, that's good. Lin Feng said as if he was relieved. Then the two began to wash up. After washing up, the two went down to the hotel lobby to wait for Li Yangwei and Zhang Yanmen. It was agreed yesterday that they planned to go to the Forbidden City for sightseeing today. After the few people met up, they went out for breakfast. Speaking of breakfast in Beijing, it is so rich. In addition to traditional soy milk, fried dough sticks, steamed buns, etc., there is also Beijing-style bean juice. Several people came to a traditional breakfast shop in Beijing. I'm so hungry, boss. Give me a few breakfasts. Zhang Yanmen shouted as soon as he sat down. Okay, please wait. The owner of the breakfast shop replied with a smile. You can tell that he is a Beijinger with a pure accent. By the way, boss, do you have that bean juice? I heard that it is a must-try when you come to Beijing. Guest, yes, please wait, it will be here soon. The boss said with a smile. Then he turned around and shouted to a young man not far away. Shui Sainer, hurry up and bring a few bowls of bean juice to the guests. Soon, breakfast was served, as well as those bowls of bean juice that were a little green in color. Zhang Yuxi glanced at the green bean juice and frowned on her little face. She quietly pulled Lin Feng's hand and spoke in a low voice. Lin Feng, this seems to be rotten. He. Silly girl, this bean juice tastes like this, it smells like sewage. Actually, it's just like stinky tofu, it smells bad, but some people just love to eat it. Similarly, this bean juice is also a big favorite of Beijing people. Try it quickly, maybe you will like it. Then Zhang Yuxi picked up the bean juice in front of her and took a sip gently. But soon, her little face wrinkled up, and she pinched her nose and swallowed it. Then she felt a sour feeling rising in her stomach, and she felt a little nauseous. Lin Feng gently patted Zhang Yuxi's back, picked up the soy milk, and let her take a sip to suppress the taste of the bean juice. Oh. Zhang Yanmen looked at Zhang Yuxi like this, and felt a little scared. He looked at the two large bowls of green bean juice in front of him, and felt a little scared. Then he made up his mind, picked up the slightly green bean juice in front of him and took a big sip. Zhang Yanmen saw several people looking at him strangely. He said a little embarrassedly. That, I think it tastes pretty good. Everyone. Well, Lao Zhang, drink my portion too. Li Yangwei pushed his bowl of bean juice in front of Zhang Yanmen. Lin Feng shook his head. He was used to it. He had tried it before. Although he didn't like it very much, he didn't reject it. After breakfast, the four of them returned to the hotel to pick up the car and drove all the way to the Forbidden City. After parking the car, several people bought tickets and started today's tour of the Forbidden City. As soon as they entered the gate, Zhang Yanmen said excitedly, "Speaking of the Forbidden City, I can recite it by heart." Then he began to show off. Speaking of the Forbidden City, it is the largest and best preserved ancient palace complex in the world, and it is a reflection of the level of ancient Chinese architecture. Surrounded by city walls, there is a well-structured corner tower at each corner of the city wall. Outside the city, there is a 52-meter wide and 3,800-meter long moat surrounding it, forming a complete defense system. The palace city has 4 gates. The Meridian Gate in the south is the main gate of the Forbidden City, the Shenwu Gate, Zhuangwu Gate, in the north, the Donghu Gate in the east, and the Zihu Gate in the west. The unparalleled masterpiece of ancient architecture, the Forbidden City, covers an area of more than 720,000 square meters, with more than 9,000 palaces, all of which are wooden structures, yellow glazed tile roofs, blue-white stone bases, and decorated with magnificent paintings. These palaces are arranged along a north-south central axis and spread out on both sides, straightening the north and south and symmetrical on the left and right. This central axis not only runs through the Forbidden City, but also reaches Yuangding Gate in the south and the Drum Tower and Bell Tower in the north, running through the entire city. It is magnificent, well-planned, and extremely spectacular. Architects believe that the design and architecture of the Forbidden City is truly an unparalleled masterpiece. Its plain layout, three-dimensional effect, and the majestic, grand, solemn and harmonious forms can all be said to be rare in the world. Several people walked while listening to Zhang Anmin's introduction. It's not to mention that this guy, old Zhang, is really familiar with the Forbidden City. Everyone looked at the palace full of historical atmosphere and magnificent. One can imagine the prosperity of that era and the extravagance of the emperor's grandchildren and nobles. At this time, Zhang Anmin's voice suddenly lowered, and he spoke mysteriously. I heard that there were many eunuchs and palace maids who died unjustly in this deep palace. They were resentful and their souls were locked in this deep palace and could not be reincarnated, so tourists often saw a group of eunuchs and palace maids wandering in this palace wall. Zhang Anmin's voice was low as if it was true. Hearing this, Li Yangwei and Zhang Yuxi got goosebumps all over their bodies. Li Yangwei felt as if a gust of cold wind blew over, and the whole person trembled. And Zhang Yuxi held Lin Feng's hand and unconsciously exerted a little more force. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 984 Special Magnetic Field. Suddenly, a scream rang out. Fuck. There's a ghost. Zhang Anmin said in a terrified voice, with his eyes wide open, pointing at the palace wall not far away. Old Zhang, stop it. Li Yangwei rolled his eyes at him and said. Then he looked in the direction of old Jiwang's finger. Fuck. He shouted and was stunned. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi saw that the two of them didn't seem to be joking, so they looked back. Oh, this. Only to see the figures of eunuchs and palace maids swimming under the palace wall not far away. Although Zhang Yuxi was not afraid of horror movies, she was scared to death when she experienced it herself. She shrank into Lin Feng's arms, trembling all over, obviously scared. Although Lin Feng was a little shocked at first, he soon calmed down. He had died once, so it was not surprising to encounter a ghost. He gently stroked Zhang Yuxi's back and comforted her. Be good, don't be afraid, your husband is here. Zhang Yuxi's body slowly stopped trembling. Zhang Anmin and Li Yangwei opened their mouths wide, already shocked. At this time, an old man suddenly appeared in front of them. Zhang. Dust to dust, earth to earth, return quickly. The old man roared. The figures of the palace maids and eunuchs in front of them gradually disappeared. The old man slowly walked in front of Lin Feng and the others. He looked at them calmly and said, Young man, don't be afraid. It's just some historical images, don't worry. Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin had come back to their senses at this time. Both of them were shocked. Zhang Anmin swallowed his saliva, looked at the old man and spoke carefully. Uncle, was that really a ghost just now? How? Young man, you are talking nonsense. There is no ghost. The old man spat and said. But, just now. Zhang Anmin said with a look of disbelief. He was interrupted by the old man before he finished speaking. Didn't I tell you? It was just a historical video. You are a guy who doesn't study hard. The old man couldn't help but complain. It's just because of the layout of the Forbidden City that a special magnetic field is formed, which imprints some scenes in history. Under certain specific circumstances, they will reappear. And what you just saw is like this. So don't be afraid, it's not a ghost. The old man said lightly. Zhang Yanmen seemed to understand, but he was still not sure about the scene just now. After all, it was really scary. Lin Feng was thinking about it. Lin Feng had heard of what the old man said in his previous life. I just don't know whether it is true or not. Then Li Yangwei said with some doubts. Uncle, since it is a video, what did you just say about dust to dust, earth to earth? This. The old man rolled his eyes at Li Yangwei and said lightly. Didn't I say that? That was a magnetic field? I shouted just to destroy that magnetic field and make the picture disappear, so that more people wouldn't see it and spread rumors, which would have a bad impact. The old man looked at the two of them with contempt, and the meaning in his eyes was obvious. That is, they are ignorant. Li Yangwei was a little embarrassed and didn't dare to speak again. It's nothing, I'm leaving now, you little kids, don't spread it. The old man said lightly. After that, he walked away with his hands behind his back. Only 4 people were left there, a little absent-minded. After a few tens of seconds of silence. Ahem. Lin Feng coughed a few times to interrupt everyone's distraction. He spoke slowly. I've heard of what the old man said, don't think about it, there are no ghosts in this world. Let's go somewhere else. Zhang Yuxi also recovered at this time, but the hand that she held tightly to Lin Feng proved that she was still a little scared in her heart. Then the few people left this place where they were still scared and went to other places to go shopping. Soon, it seemed that this matter was thrown behind her, and the smile returned to her face. It's just that this incident probably left an indelible impression in the hearts of several people. Several people strolled around casually. Then they came to the Golden Palace. The majestic hall then had a solemn atmosphere, making people seem to have returned to the scene of the morning court of thousands of people. The entire hall has load-bearing eaves and a hip roof, and sits on 3 layers of white marble steps. It uses golden dragon and seal color paintings. There are as many as 11 immortals and animals on the roof, and 11 bays, all of which are of the highest form. The golden dragon chair symbolizes supreme power. It is decorated with various gems and is extremely luxurious. Several people admired it sincerely. Several people visited and toured all the way, and walked around roughly. It is really magnificent and gorgeous. The crystallization of the wisdom of countless generations of Chinese people is really unimaginable. I am afraid that although technology is advanced now, it is difficult to create a palace complex as majestic and gorgeous as the Forbidden City. It's not that it can't be built, but there is no such feeling anymore. Unknowingly, several people have been touring the Forbidden City until the afternoon. It was not until my stomach started to protest that I reluctantly left the Forbidden City. After getting the car, several people drove all the way to the famous Donglation restaurant in Beijing. Donglation restaurant is one of the 4 Shen halal restaurants in Beijing, and it is also the leader of the copper pot hot pot in the old Beijing. Donglation's hot pot mutton is already famous in Beijing. Several people came here to taste the copper pot hot pot mutton that they often saw on TV. Watching it on TV makes people salivate. Everyone can't wait. Soon several people drove to Donglation restaurant on Wangfu Street. After parking the car, they walked quickly into the restaurant. No other. Hungry. Except for eating something for breakfast, until now. Iron Man can't stand it. Soon the hot copper pot was brought up. The charcoal fire was burning below, and the clear soup base in the pot was gurgling. The thin plates of mutton made everyone's appetite open. Then they started to eat with relish. The mutton was so delicious that people wanted to swallow their tongues. One plate, and another plate. The table was piled with plates. This fighting power is amazing. Finally, after a whirlwind of eating, several people put down their chopsticks with satisfaction. Brother Feng, I can't take it anymore, I feel like my stomach is going to burst. Zhang Yanmen said with difficulty, holding his stomach. Several people were amused by Zhang Yanmen's appearance. This old Zhang was like a starving ghost reincarnated. At least half of the plates on the table were eaten by him. I don't know if he really starved to death in his previous life, he can eat so much. Chapter 985 Antique Appreciation Ability. Several people were chatting while digesting their food. At this time, Lin Feng's cell phone rang. Holding the blue and white token quietly and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. Lin Feng took out his cell phone and saw that it was Jejo calling. He didn't know what this guy wanted. He smiled and pressed the answer button. Damn it. Brother, what are you doing? It took you so long to answer the phone. J-Joe's voice full of Minon characteristics came out from the phone. Oh, if you have something to say it quickly. If you have to fart, fart quickly. Lin Feng said unhappily. Hey, brother, where are you now? I have good news for you. My new album will be released tonight. J-Joe laughed. Oh, not bad. Lin Feng imitated J-Joe. Oh, what? Why are you imitating my speech? J-Joe was stunned for a moment and said unhappily. Ha ha ha. Congratulations, I hope your new album will sell well. Lin Feng said with a smile. Haha, thank you for your good words. But you also have a copy of the new album. There's a surprise for you in it. J-Joe said with a smile. Oh? What's the surprise? Raymond Lam asked with some curiosity. Oh, you'll know when the time comes. J-Joe kept it a secret. Oh, by the way, where are you now? I'll send you a copy of my autographed album, my half-fan friend. J-Joe joked. Well, I'm in Beijing now, and I don't have a fixed address now. Let's talk about it later when we have a chance. Raymond Lam said with a smile. Damn. You're in Beijing. I'm here too. I'm here to promote the new album. J-Joe said in surprise. Oh, is it such a coincidence? Raymond Lam also said in surprise. Well, brother, where do you live? I'll come to see you later. J-Joe said happily. Well, okay, I live in room 405 of the Binhei Hotel near Bihei Park. Raymond Lam said. Okay, I'll come find you later. I'm busy with a lot of things. Jay said. Then the two hung up the phone. Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi and the others looking at him. So he smiled and said. Haha, it's Jay. He's also in Beijing. He said he'll come find us later. The few people suddenly realized. After chatting for a while, they paid the bill and left. Just as they walked out of the door, they saw that it was still early and didn't want to go back to the hotel for the time being. They were hesitating about where to go. Suddenly Li Yangwei suggested. Brother Feng, let's take a look at our pen garden. Huh? Lin Feng thought about it and thought it was okay. It was a good opportunity to go and see it. What? Interrupt me, what is pan garden? Jiang Anmin asked curiously. Li Yangwei rolled his eyes at him. This guy only knows how to eat. Then he explained. Panin is a famous antique market in Beijing, a market with a wide range of business, covering an area of 48,500 square meters. The main items sold are jewelry, jade, antique furniture, 4 treasures of the study, ancient books and paintings, old books and periodicals, and daily necessities. It is a great place to buy and appreciate antiques, crafts, collectibles, and decorations. There is a gem identification center of Peking University in the market, which can issue authoritative certificates or provide consultation for jewelry and jade on the spot. Oh, so that's the case. Jiang Anmin nodded. Let's try our luck. Maybe we can find some good treasures. Li Yangwei said with a smile. Then what are you waiting for? Let's go quickly. I think with my luck, I will definitely get some treasures from the Warring States period. Jiang Anmin said excitedly. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi, with a questioning look in his eyes. After all, Zhang Yuxi was still having her period, and if she didn't want to go, then Lin Feng would accompany her back to the hotel to rest. Zhang Yuxi understood what Lin Feng meant. She smiled and nodded. She was also curious about what kind of place Pen Garden was. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi also wanted to go, Lin Feng nodded and said, then let's go and see the charm of antiques and buy treasures by the way. So the 4 of them got on the car and set off according to the navigation instructions. Lin Feng was driving the car, and suddenly the crisp sound of the system rang in his mind. Ding, triggering system random task, accept J-Joe's invitation and attend J-Joe's new Chinese-style album promotion meeting as a guest. Choice 1, accept the task and be rewarded with master-level antique appreciation ability. Choice 2, reject the task, no penalty. Note 1, master-level antique appreciation ability will be obtained through the memory transmission function, and the host will instantly have an antique appreciation level comparable to that of a veteran antique player who has been immersed in it for decades. Note 2, master-level antique appreciation ability, covering most categories of antique collections from all over the world, including calligraphy and painting, porcelain, bronze, jade, lacquer, material, ivory, bamboo, etc. Lin Feng was stunned. J-Joe's new album promotion meeting guest? Question mark. The problem is that J-Joe didn't ask him. And this time, there was no punishment for refusing? There were some disgusting names before. Is it for nothing this time? There are times when the system is not disgusting. Lin Feng sighed. Just thinking about it, the phone rang. Zhang Yuxi answered it for Lin Feng and put it on the speaker. Hello, brother Lin Feng, I suddenly have an idea. I want to invite you to be the guest of my new Chinese-style album promotion meeting tomorrow to promote the new album with me. Do you think it's okay? Jejo didn't say anything and asked directly. Well, okay, let me know when the time comes. Lin Feng thought about it and answered directly. Oh, brother, are you agreeing now? Jejo asked uncertainly. Yes, Lin Feng replied. You agreed so easily, that made me prepare a lot of excuses, but they are useless. Jejo said helplessly. Stop talking nonsense, I'm driving, let's talk later. Lin Feng said unhappily. Okay, you drive, let's talk later. After getting Lin Feng's agreement, Jejo hung up the phone directly. This system really makes everything come true. Just when I was about to go to the antique market, I got a master-level antique appreciation ability. Moreover, before Jejo opened his mouth, the system gave the choice first. It really has nothing left out, it really deserves to be a system. Then Lin Feng said directly to the system in his mind. System, I choose 1. Accept the task. Ding, choose to confirm, system rewards are being issued, please wait, ding, system rewards are successfully issued. Comma, at this moment. In Lin Feng's mind, a lot of knowledge about antique appreciation appeared, as if Lin Feng had been immersed in this for a long time and had no sense of unfamiliarity. Lin Feng smiled, stepped on the accelerator, and drove quickly towards Penitin Antique Market. This time we are going to do some real shopping. Chapter 986, Start the Teobao Journey. Zhang Yuxi saw a slight smile on Lin Feng's lips, and couldn't help muttering in her heart. This bad guy, what bad things are he thinking about again, smiling so badly? If Lin Feng knew that Zhang Yuxi thought of him like this, he would definitely shout that he was wronged. Am I such a bad person? I was just smiling, okay. Soon the car arrived at the Penitin Antique Market. After everyone parked the car, they started their Teobao journey. As soon as they walked into the gate of Penitin, they were attracted by the strange little things on both sides of the street. This place is really big, and the street is full of stalls. Both sides of the street are full of various antiques or jade shops. There is almost everything here, and there are many new goods. Count them up, such as antique furniture, ancient books and paintings, agate jade, ceramics, Chinese and foreign coins, religious supplies, ethnic costumes, erotic paintings. There are also people selling crafts here. There are many people in Penitin, and most people come here with the mentality of picking up bargains on Teobao. Although the identities and motivations of the people in Penitin vary greatly, some conventional rules have been formed. For example, you cannot ask the price of something that others are holding. You must wait for others to put it down before you ask the price. You cannot get angry just because someone else picked up a bargain. You must admit defeat. Since it is a world of martial arts, there are bound to be legendary stories of success. There are many old men and women in Penitin. When they were young, they may not have thought of becoming rich. They just wanted to find a job in their later years, and they did it here and there, and ended up becoming the first to get rich. Many people here started their business with a piece of rag in the mid-1990s, and there are many people who have RVs and millions of dollars. The above stories of success are true. Speaking of legendary stories of success, there are simply no limit. For example, someone spent 15 yuan to buy a sword, and it was sold for 150,000 yuan. Someone spent 300 yuan to buy a plate, which turned out to be yuan blue and white porcelain, and was sold for 370,000 yuan. Someone spent 300 yuan to buy a set of mahjong, and it was sold for 60,000 yuan. So many people in the antique industry say that Penitin is a legendary place. Several people looked around, very curious. After looking for a while, Zhang Anmin pulled Li Yangwei to the side, saying that he was going to Teobao. He also said that with his luck, he would definitely find a good treasure today. After Lin Feng told the two of them some rules in the antique industry, he told them not to mess around. You can spend small money, don't be impulsive with big money, and discuss anything with him first. Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin both agreed. So they separated. Zhang Anmin and Li Yangwei ran into the crowd. Lin Feng looked at the excitement of the two and shook his head. These two guys, really? Then Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and they strolled around casually. They walked to a small stall selling jade. You too, take a look at it at will. If you like it, you can ask for it. The price is good. The stall owner was an old man, and he spoke enthusiastically. Lin Feng smiled and said nothing. He looked at it casually. With a master-level ability to appreciate antiques, he looked around and understood it in his heart. Don't look at these jades with exquisite workmanship, and even look very old. In fact, they are all modern mass-produced handicrafts. They are all worthless scraps. Lin Feng smiled and put down the jade in his hand. The boss saw this and said, "How is it? Young man, do you like it? I'm not bragging, all my jades are real and beautiful jades, rest assured, the price is fair." Lin Feng shook his head and didn't say much. After smiling, he took Zhang Yuxi's hand and left. Seeing this, the boss didn't try to keep him. After walking away, Zhang Yuxi spoke with some curiosity. "Lin Feng, I think those jades are pretty nice." "Haha, silly girl, those are worthless things, they are just made old by technology, they don't have any spirituality." Lin Feng smiled and said, "Ah, then isn't this a lie?" Zhang Yuxi was a little surprised. "Boss, I'm not lying, they are indeed jades. As for whether to buy them or not, it depends on you. If you are not careful, you can't blame them. This is the charm of Pen Garden," Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi nodded as if she understood. Then the two continued to stroll. As they walked, they came to a small stall selling porcelain antiques. The stall owner was a young woman, about 30 years old. Seeing Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi stop, she greeted them warmly. "You two feel free to look around, all the porcelains in my house are good stuff. If you two like them, I can give you some discounts." Lin Feng nodded and looked around casually. After looking around, they also found that they were basically all modern handicrafts, which were only worth a few dozen yuan. Although there are few small items from the Republic of China period, they are also worthless and have no reference value. Lin Feng put down the porcelain in his hand, took Zhang Yuxi's hand and prepared to leave. "Hey!" Suddenly, Lin Feng accidentally glanced at a porcelain bowl with a general shape next to the young woman's position. There was also a porcelain teapot next to it. It seemed that the young woman used it to drink water. Lin Feng paused and picked up the items calmly. After picking a porcelain plate and a porcelain bowl that looked good, Lin Feng said softly, "Boss lady, how much are these two?" "Young man, you have a good eye. These two things are relatively good porcelain in my stall." "Well, young man, if you really want it, I'll give you this number." The boss lady stretched out 5 fingers and said. Lin Feng shook his head and said, "This number is expensive, not worth it." "Oh, then young man, I see that you also want it sincerely. How about this, you give a number." The boss lady pretended to hesitate slightly. 30. Lin Feng held up 3 fingers and said slowly, "Oh, young man, you are not being kind. 30 can't even buy a piece of porcelain," the proprietress said unsatisfiedly. Lin Feng smiled, took Zhang Yuxi's hand, and pretended to leave. The proprietress saw this and got anxious. Young man, wait a minute." Lin Feng paused and stopped. The proprietress said hesitantly, "Young man, I think you are a good person. If you really want it, 300, I will give you these 2 things." Lin Feng shook his head. "Young man, I tell you the truth, I bought these 2 things for 250 yuan, just to make your hard-earned money. Young man, this is really the lowest price. If it's any lower, I will lose money," the proprietress said a little pitifully. Lin Feng hesitated for a moment. He looked at the proprietress and spoke slowly. "How about this? I think your porcelain kettle is pretty good, and my family also needs something to drink water from, so you can give me the porcelain kettle as well. I'll take all 3 of these for 300 yuan. Chapter 987 Yuan Blue and White Bowl. Oh, the lady boss looked at her porcelain kettle and felt a little confused. She had used the porcelain kettle for a long time. It was just an ordinary kettle. She bought it for 10 yuan. Could there be some tricks? She thought about it, looked at Lin Feng and said with some embarrassment, "Young man, my porcelain kettle is a good thing. 300 yuan is not enough." Lin Feng shook his head and smiled. "Lady boss, don't say more. Your porcelain kettle is just an ordinary kettle. I just saw that these 2 things match well with me, and I just happen to be short of a kettle. 300, no more." The lady boss hesitated after listening to Lin Feng's words. Then she gritted her teeth and said, "Young man, I see you really want it too. How about this, 500 yuan, I will give it to you. I also have to support my family and earn some hard-earned money. Do you think it's okay? Lin Feng thought about it, then looked at the lady boss and said, how about this? Give me the bowl next to your kettle as well. I just want to make a pair. These 4 things, 500 yuan, I want them. The lady boss looked at the bowl. It was nothing special. She usually used it to drink water. She thought about it. These 4 things cost 500 yuan. Her cost was only about 100 yuan, and she could still make a few hundred yuan. So she nodded and said, okay, young man, I'll give it to you all. Then, Lin Feng took out 500 yuan from his wallet and handed it to the lady boss. The lady boss also packed up the things Lin Feng wanted and handed them to Lin Feng. Then, the lady boss smiled and said, young man, the goods are cleared. Welcome to come often. Lin Feng nodded, smiled, and said nothing. He picked up the things, held Zhang Yuxi's hand and turned to leave. After walking away, Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and said curiously, Lin Feng, I think those porcelains are very ordinary. Are they good things? Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi and smiled. Hey. Well, it's really a good thing. To be precise, we found a treasure. Huh? Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng in surprise. Lin Feng, those porcelains look very ordinary to me, similar to the bowls and plates we used to eat. Zhang Yuxi said with wide eyes, puzzled. Hey. You are right, 3 of them are indeed similar to the porcelains we usually used to eat. But the bowl at the back is different. Oh, it's the bowl I asked the boss lady to match. If I'm not mistaken, it should be yuan blue and white porcelain. Lin Feng explained with a smile. Huh? But that looks so ugly. Zhang Yuxi said in surprise. Little fool, it's not ugly, it's that the aesthetics of that era are different from ours now. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said gently. Oh, by the way, is that yuan blue and white porcelain valuable? Zhang Yuxi didn't quite understand, so she asked with curiosity. Well, I haven't looked carefully yet, but I estimate that there are still hundreds of thousands. I have to go back and take a closer look. Lin Feng said softly. Huh? Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth in surprise. She thought that tens of thousands of yuan was expensive, but she didn't expect it to be so expensive. Lin Feng smiled when he saw Zhang Yuxi's surprise. Then he reached out and rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head, and said softly. Little fool, this is why so many people want to pick up bargains, and this is also the charm of picking up bargains. But more people are fooled and pay tuition. Zhang Yuxi nodded thoughtfully. Well said. At this time, a full-bodied voice came from the side. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi both looked back at the same time. Hey. Young man, sorry, I heard what you said and couldn't help but interrupt. He, a little shallow knowledge, let the uncle laugh. Lin Feng replied with a smile. Hey, young man, you are too modest. I think you said it very well. Everyone in this world is busy for profit. Everyone wants to find a bargain, but how many people can do it? Most people are just fooling around. If you bet your entire fortune, I'm afraid you will end up with your family ruined. The old man sighed. Haha, what you said makes sense. Lin Feng smiled and said. Oh, by the way, young man, I just heard you say that you found a yuan blue and white bowl. I don't know if it's convenient, can I take a look at it? The old man asked Lin Feng with a curious look. Lin Feng looked around and saw that some people began to stop and watch. He smiled and said. Haha, old man, forget it, there are so many people coming and going on this street, it's not a good influence. The old man paused and looked around. There are so many people coming and going, and some people even stopped and looked at this side out of curiosity. It's really not appropriate. Then he spoke. I forgot to introduce myself. My last name is Zhuang. I own an antique shop not far ahead. If you don't mind, let's go to the shop to have a cup of tea and chat. There are also many old items in the shop. If you are interested, you can go and have a look. Seeing that Mr. Zhuang invited him, Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi nodded. She was also a little curious. So Lin Feng spoke. Since Mr. Zhuang invited me, I'll bother you. Ha ha ha, okay. I haven't met such an interesting young man for a long time. Please follow me. Mr. Zhuang laughed. Then the few of them walked forward for a while and came to the door of an antique shop called Rui's Hay. Please. Mr. Zhuang said politely. Then he led Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi into the shop. Hey, Zio Su, make some tea. As soon as Mr. Zhuang walked into the shop, He spoke to a young man who was packing things in the shop. Hey, okay, master. Then, Mr. Zhuang politely invited Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi to sit down, and said with a smile. Haha, sorry to bother you two. The young man just now was my new apprentice. He is a studious and honest young man. Haha. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi smiled and said nothing. Then the tea was served. The young man looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi curiously, and then retreated respectfully. After drinking a sip of tea, Mr. Zhuang said to Lin Feng with a smile. Young man, I forgot to ask what your name is. Mr. Zhuang, my last name is Lin, you can just call me Xiao Lin. This is my fiancé. Lin Feng said with a smile. And Zhang Yuxi also nodded to Mr. Zhuang with a smile. Okay, then I will take advantage of my age and call you Brother Lin. Mr. Zhuang said with a smile. Brother Lin, take out your yuan blue and white bowl quickly. I can't wait, haha. Chapter 988, Picture of White Rabbit Looking at the Moon. Okay. Lin Feng said, and then he picked up the things he had just bought from the ground and put them on the coffee table. Mr. Zhuang couldn't wait to open the bag and take a look. Then he frowned. This. After looking at it, his eyes lit up, and he picked up the ordinary shaped bowl and looked at it carefully. He opened the drawer under the coffee table, took out a pair of reading glasses from it, and looked at it carefully. Lin Feng looked at Mr. Zhuang calmly, silently. Mr. Zhuang frowned from time to time, and smiled from time to time. After a while, Mr. Zhuang gently put down the porcelain bowl in his hand. He looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi with a smile on his face and spoke. This bowl is 5.9 centimeters high, 11.4 centimeters in diameter, and 5.8 centimeters in bottom diameter. The body is of moderate thickness, regular shape, delicate and clean, with rich craftsmanship, and rigorous composition and painting. The glaze is white with a hint of green, and the glaze is bright and translucent, smooth and moist. The glaze is duck egg green in the accumulated areas, and the brightness of the glaze often flashes. The glaze on the foot ring is a light aqua. This is indeed a yuan blue and white porcelain bowl. Brother Lin has a good eye. Lin Feng smiled and said nothing. Zhang Yuxi was confused and a little curious. She spoke softly. Mr. Zhuang, is this yuan blue and white bowl precious? Mr. Zhuang glanced at Zhang Yuxi and said with a smile. Little girl, let me tell you, this is not just precious. There was a yuan blue and white porcelain bowl at an auction before, which was sold for a sky-high price of more than 4 million. Ah, so much money. Zhang Yuxi said in surprise, covering her mouth. Just now Lin Feng said that it was worth at least several 100,000, and she thought it was very high. Now Mr. Zhuang said that such a small thing was worth millions, which really scared her. But, what a pity. Mr. Zhuang shook his head and said with some regret. What a pity. The glaze on the body of this bowl is slightly blue-green, and slightly light blue in the warmth. Except for the foot ring showing aqua green, the glaze on the body of the bowl often shows a light ivory yellow, and sometimes shows a milky white. Its color will be slightly different with the changes in humidity and temperature in the air. It's just that you can see a fine layer of skin on the surface of the body, and the glaze is not smooth. It feels bumpy when you hold it in your hand. Looking at the pattern on the body of this bowl, it should be a Jing-de-Jun folk kill in the late Yuan dynasty and early Ming dynasty. The folk kill is still a little worse than the official kill. The estimated price should be between 400,000 and 500,000. It should be higher at the auction, but it won't reach 7 figures. Mr. Zhuang said, looking at Lin Feng and smiled. What do you think of what I said, Brother Lin? 4 or 500,000, that's quite a lot. Zhang Yuxi sighed in her heart. Lin Feng smiled, looked at Mr. Zhuang, and said meaningfully. Mr. Zhuang, please take a closer look. Seeing Lin Feng say this, Mr. Zhuang felt a little confused and a little dissatisfied. He picked up the yuan blue and white porcelain bowl again, put on his glasses and carefully checked the omissions. After looking at it for a long time, Mr. Zhuang couldn't see where he was wrong. So he gently put down the blue and white porcelain bowl, looked at Lin Feng with some dissatisfaction and said, I don't know what you mean, Brother Lin. Forgive my poor eyesight, please give me some advice. Lin Feng smiled at this, he looked at Mr. Zhuang and spoke slowly. What Mr. Zhuang said before is indeed correct. Since the first year of Yan'ao in the Yuan dynasty, it has been clearly stated that double-horned 5-claw dragon pattern, unicorn, phoenix, white rabbit, and Ganoderma lucidum, etc. are not allowed to be used by ministers and common people. So there was a distinction between official kills and folk kills. And the 3-clawed and 4-clawed dragon patterns in yuan blue and white porcelain and the coarser made utensils are basically products of folk kills used by ministers and common people. Therefore, all blue and white porcelains with band patterns are also official kill products produced by folk kills under orders. Mr. Zhuang may have forgotten, but a considerable portion of the yuan blue and white porcelains that do not have these patterns must be official kill wares. Then Lin Feng gently picked up the yuan blue and white porcelain bowl on the table and spoke. Mr. Zhuang, please look. This bowl has a wide mouth and is relatively short. The bottom of the bowl is not glazed. The wheel pattern of the bowl is rough and there are obvious raised joints at the joints. Judging from the workmanship, it should not be produced in the late Yuan dynasty and early Ming dynasty as Mr. Zhuang said, but a product of the early and middle Yuan dynasty. The firing technology at that time was insufficient. Another point is that there is a small white rabbit looking at the moon on the bottom of the bowl. It may be too small to be often overlooked. If you don't believe it, Mr. Zhuang, just pour water into the bowl and you will know. After Lin Feng finished speaking, Mr. Zhuang was very confused. He picked up the kettle on the table and poured half a bowl of boiling water into the bowl. Then he saw a white rabbit standing up on its front feet, and the light fell into the water and spread out, like a circle of bright moon reflected in the water. A picture of a white rabbit looking at the moon appeared on the bottom of the bowl. Mr. Zhuang widened his eyes and couldn't believe it. It's amazing, it's amazing. Mr. Zhuang muttered to himself a little absent-mindedly. And Zhang Yuxi was also looking at the scene in front of him in amazement. My heart was filled with shock, so magical. The wisdom of the ancients is really amazing. After a while, Mr. Zhuang came back to his senses, picked up the teacup in front of him and drank it all. Then he looked at Lin Feng with a complicated face and sighed. Brother Lin, you have a good eye. I admit defeat. Lin Feng smiled and waved his hand and said. Mr. Zhuang, you are too kind. At the beginning, I thought the same as you. After thinking about it, I discovered this by chance. Huh? I wonder how little brother Lin discovered this. Mr. Zhuang asked curiously. And Zhang Yuxi's face was full of curiosity, looking at Lin Feng. Lin Feng smiled lightly and said. This is really a coincidence. What Mr. Zhuang said was almost what I thought at the beginning. It's just that I suddenly remembered when I bought this bowl before. At that time, the proprietress used this bowl to drink water. When she poured out the water, I seemed to see a pattern flashing, but I didn't see the pattern just now. When Mr. Zhuang was studying the bowl, the bottom of the bowl was facing me. I looked carefully and finally found this tiny pattern, so I overturned my original conclusion. So that's it. After Lin Feng's explanation, Mr. Zhuang suddenly realized it. This pattern is indeed so subtle that it is easy to ignore, but if I didn't see it, it was because I was wrong and made a mistake. Mr. Zhuang laughed at himself. He valued Lin Feng even more in his heart. Lin Feng, you are so amazing. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly at Lin Feng. Lin Feng turned his head to look at Zhang Yuxi, and saw that she was looking at him with admiration, and couldn't help but smile. He rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head and said gently. Of course, don't you see whose husband I am? He. Zhang Yuxi also smiled sweetly. Chapter 989, A Hero Emerges from Youth. Old Zhuang was a little helpless when he saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi flirting in front of him. He shook his head and said with a smile. You two little kids, do you even want to feed dog food to me? Hiccup. Zhang Yuxi paused and blushed to her ears with shyness. Lin Feng smiled and said nothing. After all, being thick-skinned is what Lin Feng is proud of. He pretended to be calm and picked up the tea in front of him and took a sip. By the way, little brother Lin, how much money did you pick up from the leak? Old Zhuang asked Lin Feng with some curiosity. Lin Feng smiled and slowly stretched out 5 fingers. 500,000. Old Zhuang asked. Lin Feng shook his head. 50,000. Lin Feng shook his head again. Oh my. It can't be 5,000. Lin Feng smiled and said. 500 yuan. Zhuang Lao. What? 500. I can't help but swear. Little brother Lin, you picked up a huge bargain. This yuan blue and white porcelain bowl, plus this amazing white rabbit looking at the moon, is worth at least 20 million, maybe even more. Little brother Lin, your vision is really amazing. Heroes emerge from youth. Zhuang Lao exclaimed sincerely. Zhuang Lao, 500 yuan is for those 3 things, this bowl is for nothing. Zhang Yuxi smiled and added. Oh, this. Zhuang Lao originally thought that Lin Feng would have to spend at least 5 figures to get this yuan blue and white porcelain bowl, but he didn't expect it to be like this. 500 yuan. And this bowl is for nothing. Zhuang Lao looked at Lin Feng with a complicated look. He was so surprised that he didn't know what to say. Zhuang Lao thought for a while and spoke with a little hesitation. Well, Brother Lin, do you plan to sell this yuan blue and white porcelain bowl? If Brother Lin plans to sell it, I am willing to buy it for 30 million. Huh? Lin Feng was stunned for a moment. But then he thought about it and felt relieved. After all, Mr. Zhuang specializes in antique business. Although 30 million is not a small amount, Lin Feng is not short of money for the time being. Lin Feng plans to keep this yuan blue and white bowl for the time being. Seeing that Lin Feng was distracted, Mr. Zhuang felt a little embarrassed. After all, it was indeed a bit rash to speak so rashly. But he really likes this yuan blue and white bowl, especially the magical picture of a white rabbit looking at the moon that can be seen after filling it with water. Lin Feng came back to his senses and looked at Mr. Zhuang. And Mr. Zhuang looked at Lin Feng expectantly. Lin Feng thought for a while and spoke. Sorry, Mr. Zhuang, I don't plan to sell this yuan blue and white bowl for the time being. After all, this is the first time I have found an antique at a bargain price in my life, and it is very memorable. However, if I have the idea of selling it in the future, I will give priority to Mr. Zhuang. Mr. Zhuang looked disappointed. But then he was relieved. 30 million is not a small amount. However, with Lin Feng's vision and ability, he is obviously not short of money. In Pine Garden, people never divide people by age. After all, this place is a mixed bag, and there are many talented people. Who knows if anyone you meet is a low-key rich man or a desperate criminal? Alice. Mr. Zhuang sighed and did not mention this matter again. Then the two chatted casually about antiques. During this period, some of Lin Feng's remarks and opinions shocked Mr. Zhuang. Sure enough, Lin Feng's ability and vision are really beyond reproach. Quietly holding the blue and white token and keeping the promise, parting is always spent in frustration. At this time, Lin Feng's mobile phone rang. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and took a look. It turned out to be Zhang Yuxi calling. Lin Feng apologized to Mr. Zhuang and then answered the phone. Hello, Brother Feng, where are you and Sister Yuxi? Why can't we find you? Zhang Yuxi's voice came from the other end of the phone. It turned out that Zhang Yuxi and Li Yangyi went shopping and bought some small things to show off to Lin Feng, but they couldn't find Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi after searching for a while. So he called to ask, old Zhang, Yuxi and I are in Rue Hazy on East Street. Come over. Lin Feng said softly. Okay, Brother Feng, wait for us, there are good things to show you. Old Zhang said excitedly. Then he hung up the phone. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. Old Zhang is still so impetuous. Lin Feng put down his phone and raised his head to smile at Mr. Zhuang. My two friends said they want to come over. It's okay, welcome. Mr. Zhuang also said with a smile. After a cup of tea, Zhang Yuxi and Li Yangyi appeared at the door of Rue Hazy. Zhang Yuxi stood at the door with a sly look and looked inside. Lin Feng smiled helplessly and said loudly. Old Zhang, come in, I'm inside. Zhang Yuxi heard that it was Lin Feng's voice, so he walked in with a smile. Li Yangyi followed behind and looked at the antique shop. As soon as Zhang Yuxi came in, he saw Lin Feng drinking tea. He said a little aggrieved. Brother Feng, this is not right. We have worked so hard to find you, and you are drinking tea here. Lin Feng. Lin Feng was speechless, and his head was full of black lines at this time. He said to Mr. Zhuang apologetically. Mr. Zhuang, I'm sorry, my friend is just like this, please don't mind. Hey. It's okay, you young people are full of energy. I like dealing with you young people. Mr. Zhuang said with a smile. Old Zhang, Brother Yang Wei, this is Mr. Zhuang, the owner of Rue Hazy Antique Shop. Why are you still standing there like an idiot? Call someone. Lin Feng introduced. Hey, hello, Mr. Zhuang. Hello, Mr. Zhuang. Zhang Yuxi and Li Yangyi said in unison. Okay, welcome, come sit down and have a cup of tea. Mr. Zhuang said as he poured tea and asked the two to sit down. After Zhang Yuxi sat down and drank a sip of tea, he hurriedly said to Lin Feng. Brother Feng, I found a good treasure, do you want to see it? Before Lin Feng could speak, He took out a string of Buddhist beads from his pocket. Yes, Brother Feng, let me tell you, this treasure of mine is the Buddhist beads worn by the former Master Sanzang, the Tang Sanzang who went to the west to obtain the essence. It is very spiritual. Several people looked at Zhang Anmin's hand curiously. Lin Feng took a look. Zhang Anmin was speechless when he saw the so-called Buddhist beads of Master Sanzang in his hand. This name is very famous, but it is just a modern craft product. Although it looks decent, it is actually rough and rotten, just old, and the craftsmanship is still very poor. Lin Feng and Mr. Zhuang looked at each other and both shook their heads. Chapter 990 Force Feeding Dog Food. Lin Feng asked helplessly. Old Zhang, how much did you spend on this Buddhist bead? Brother Feng, it's not expensive, only 3,000 yuan. Let me tell you, I used my eloquence and talked until my saliva was almost dry. Finally, the boss agreed to sell it to me for 3,000 yuan. Zhang Anmin said proudly. Lin Feng. Then he looked at Zhang Anmin with a complicated look and spoke slowly. Old Zhang, I'm not trying to hit you. Your Buddhist bead is only worth 10 yuan, and it's the kind that you can buy at night market stalls. You are fooling around. Zhang Anmin paused and said with a look of disbelief. Brother Feng, this is impossible. Look at the color, the workmanship is obviously very old. Old Zhang, if you don't believe it, you can ask Mr. Zhuang, he is an antique expert, you should believe what he says, right? Lin Feng interrupted Zhang Anmin and said. Haha, Mr. Zhuang, what do you think? Zhang Anmin said flatteringly. Little kid, don't look at it. Brother Lin is right. Your Buddhist beads are indeed fake. They are just made to look old. Although the price is not as bad as Brother Lin said, it is worth at most a few dozen yuan. Little kid, you really made a mistake. Mr. Zhuang said slowly. As soon as these words came out, the glimmer of hope in Zhang Anmin's heart was completely shattered. Zhang Anmin showed a desperate look on his face. He died before he could achieve his goal, which made the hero cry. What about the promised good luck? He said with a frown. Brother Feng, no, I want to go find that boss. Isn't he cheating? Stop. Lin Feng scolded. I told you the rules of Panitun, have you forgotten? The things sold here are all antiques. You made a mistake yourself. Who can you blame? But, Zhang Anmin said angrily. He was not distressed about the 3,000 yuan, but he was unhappy. Okay, a few thousand yuan, just treat it as a lesson. Lin Feng said in a more relaxed tone. Zhang Anmin stopped talking after hearing what Lin Feng said. But his face was full of unhappiness. Okay, don't be unhappy, I found a good thing here, which can be worth tens of millions. The money you have is not even a fraction of it, so I made up for it. Lin Feng said casually. What? Tens of millions? Old Zhang said excitedly, and the unhappiness on his face disappeared instantly. Even Li Yangwei looked at Lin Feng in surprise. Yes, this is it. It's estimated to be worth 20 million. Lin Feng said casually. Zhang Anmin looked at the bowl on the table with a shocked face. Just such a broken bowl, 20 million? Question mark? He was extremely shocked. Li Yangwei thought of something and spoke softly. Brother Feng, this is not the legendary blue and white porcelain, right? Yes, that's right. To be precise, it should be called yuan blue and white. Lin Feng nodded and explained. Zhang Anmin carefully took the yuan blue and white bowl and said with shock in his heart. Brother Feng, this thing is 20 million? How much did you buy it for? 500 yuan. Lin Feng said casually. Fuck. 500 yuan. And it's worth 20 million. This is too exaggerated. Zhang Anmin said with an unbelievable look on his face, and even swore. Then he said with a wronged look. Brother Feng, you are too discouraging. Brother Feng, how can you do these? Lin Feng rolled his eyes at him and said slowly. If you read more books, you will be able to do it too. Oh, I think I have read a lot of books. Zhang Anmin said weakly. Lin Feng. Everyone was speechless. Old Zhang, this guy, is so shameless. Then they chatted casually. Zhang Anmin held the yuan blue and white bowl and refused to put it down, as if he was holding a family heirloom. However, this yuan blue and white bowl can indeed be collected as a family heirloom. Then everyone looked at a piece of jade that Li Yangwei had found. It was good quality and could make a small profit. This made Zhang Anmin even more sad. In the end, he was the only one who was hurt. After chatting for a while, Lin Feng saw that it was getting late and planned to go back to the hotel. He got up and said goodbye to Mr. Zhuang. After Lin Feng and Mr. Zhuang exchanged contact information, they walked out of Rue Aijai under Mr. Zhuang's warm greeting. Several people walked towards the parking lot outside Pen Garden. This time, except for Zhang and Min, the others all gained a lot from the Pen Garden Teo Bao trip. What if you say that Zhang Yuxi didn't gain anything either? Isn't Lin Feng's hers? So it's still only Lao Jiang who didn't gain anything. No, Lao Jiang learned a lesson. Several people drove all the way back to the hotel. After returning to the hotel, not long after Lin Feng sat down, Lin Feng's phone rang. Hello, Joe, what's up? Lin Feng picked up the phone and answered it. Hello, Lin Feng, where are you now? Joe asked with a smile. Just got back to the hotel. Lin Feng answered truthfully. Okay, wait for me, I'll be there soon. Joe hung up the phone after saying that. Lin Feng smiled helplessly. Well, it's not quiet yet. Then, he called Zhang Anmin and a few others, and they went downstairs to wait for Joe. About 10 minutes later, Joe appeared at the door of the hotel wearing a baseball cap and a mask. Joe saw several people sitting on the sofa in the hotel lobby at a glance. He walked over quickly and said, Oh, not bad. Haha. Such a big show to welcome me. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at Joe and said unhappily. No way, who told you to be a big star? Ha ha ha. Joe laughed. Then several people left the hotel and found a night snack stall with fewer people, planning to have some midnight snacks and chat while eating. As for not finding a place with fewer people, it's because of Joe. They were afraid that he would cause a sensation if he took off his mask. They ordered some snacks such as barbecue. They ordered a dozen beers, and several people chatted casually while eating. Brother Lin Feng, why did you come to Beijing? Joe asked casually after taking a sip of wine. Oh, I'm going to Beijing to study in college. I came here in advance to get familiar with the environment and bring my wife to play by the way. Just treat it as a trip. Lin Feng said lightly. Joe is so regretful now. I shouldn't have asked earlier. This damn dog food that was unexpected. As for these two guys, just treat them as two high-intensity light bulbs. Zhang Anmin. Li Yangwei. This damn, is there any human rights? Not only was he forced to be fed dog food, but he was also despised. Woo woo woo. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 991 Attending the Concert. Joe looked at Zhang Anmin and Li Yangwei with sympathy. He may understand how these two people feel these days. Just like when he was in Sichuan province, he was the same. Being fed dog food every day. It's uncomfortable. Then Joe quickly changed the subject. Brother Lin Feng, I will be at Beijing TV station at 9:30 tomorrow morning to hold a promotion meeting for the new album. As promised, you have to come. Joe reminded. Don't worry, since I promised you, I will go. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at him and said. Do I look like the kind of person who doesn't keep his word? Zhang Anmin said curiously. Joe, we want to go too, okay. Sure, no problem, I'll say hello to the TV station, and you guys can all come together. Heh. Joe said with a smile. Then the few of them ate barbecue while chatting casually. Joe kept complaining to Li Yangwei and Zhang Anmin that when he was in Sichuan province, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi forced him to feed dog food all day long. Single dogs have no human rights. Joe's words resonated with it too. The three of them hit it off immediately, and they seemed to be close friends. From time to time, laughter could be heard from the stall, relaxed and carefree. The late-night snack ended at 11:30 p.m., and everyone was a little tipsy. Joe called his assistant to pick them up. Seeing Joe get in the car and leave, the three of them smiled and walked towards the hotel. They returned to their rooms at the hotel. After washing up, they rested. There was no conversation all night. Early the next morning, Raymond Lam was woken up by Joe's phone call. Joe repeatedly told him to remember the time and come to participate in the promotion meeting for the new album. Raymond Lam felt helpless. Joe was really afraid that he would forget to go. Am I that kind of person? Raymond Lam saw that Zhang Yuxi had also woken up, and smiled helplessly at Zhang Yuxi. Wife, let's get up, Otherwise Jejo will call every now and then, and we won't be able to sleep. Then the two of them got up and washed up. After washing up, they called Jiang Anmin and Li Yangwei, and the four of them went to have breakfast together. At 8:55, several people drove to Beijing TV station according to the navigation. Hello, Jejo, we are at the door of the TV station. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and called Jejo. Soon after, Jejo's assistant came to pick up the few people. Mr. Lin, Jejo asked me to pick you up. He is putting on makeup and it is inconvenient for him to come. He asked me to apologize to you. The little assistant said to Lin Feng and others with a smile. She had met Lin Feng several times and was familiar with him. Knowing that Lin Feng and Jejo have a good relationship, she warmly entertained the few people. Then, several people entered the TV station under the guidance of the assistant. After arranging Li Yangwei and others to sit in the audience, the little assistant smiled and said to Lin Feng, Mr. Lin, Miss Zhang, please come with me to the backstage to fix your makeup. Do I have to go too? Zhang Yuxi asked in confusion. Yes, Jejo said Miss Zhang is also here. He knows that Mr. Lin and Miss Zhang are very affectionate. He said he was afraid that if he separated you, Mr. Lin would beat him up. Suddenly, two blushes appeared on Zhang Yuxi's face. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's cute appearance and smiled gently. The assistant looked at the loving appearance of the two and was envious. Then they came to the dressing room backstage of the studio. Jejo was doing his hair, and he saw Lin Feng and the others as they walked into the dressing room. He said with a smile on his face, Brother, you are here. Well, if you don't come, I guess you will come with a knife to chop people. Lin Feng said with a smile. Ha. Damn it. How can it be so exaggerated? Jejo responded with a smile. Sister Yuxi, please judge for yourself, how can it be so exaggerated? Jejo said to Zhang Yuxi with a smile on his face. Zhang Yuxi smiled but said nothing. This is a high emotional intelligence answer. Jejo thought for a while and said, Forget it, I won't ask you any more. I'm scared of you two showing off your love again. Makeup artist, help my brother and his wife put on some makeup. Then the makeup artist stepped forward and started to help Raymond Lam with his makeup. Jejo then joked. My brother can just be painted casually. He's already so handsome. If you make him more handsome, I won't be able to live. Raymond Lam. Ha. The people in the dressing room were amused by Jejo's words. Raymond Lam looked helpless. Although he knew Jejo was joking, he secretly took note of it and would feed him some more dog food later to let him know what the evil of society is. Hello, audience friends. Hello everyone, I'm Zhou Zianglin. Jejo's handsome figure appeared on the stage of the studio. Woo. JJ I love you. Oh, not bad. Hearing the enthusiastic shouts of the fans, Jejo couldn't help but say his signature catchphrase. Today, I'm here with my latest album, a brand new Chinese-style album. I hope everyone will like it. Jejo said with a microphone. I like it. Pa. Oh, everyone is so enthusiastic. Jejo said with a smile. The title song of my album is called Galen Rain. This song comes from a sad and beautiful love story in ancient China. You will understand after listening to it. Okay, no more nonsense, music. Then the music accompaniment sounded. The audience in the entire studio fell silent in an instant. Jejo closed his eyes and brewed his emotions. Then he sang softly. The prosperous sound escaped into the empty door and frustrated the world. The dream turned cold and turned a lifetime of love debts. Jejo's voice was like a whisper in the ear, reaching the ears of everyone in the studio. Instantly everyone was brought into the emotions described in the lyrics. There was also Jejo's advance notice, or it was everyone's own feelings. Everyone really felt the sad and beautiful love story in ancient times from the lyrics. After the song ended, the whole studio was extremely quiet, so quiet that you could probably hear a pin drop. Everyone present was immersed in the world of music. Jejo exhaled slowly. Not to mention the fans. Even every time he sang this song himself, his emotions would be drawn into the lyrics and he couldn't help himself. Pa. Thunderous applause broke out from the audience. Jiang Anmin murmured to himself. This song is so well written. It's so damn touching. I, a grown man, am almost crying. Li Yangwei was also in a daze for a long time, and then he sighed deeply. Chapter 992 On-site phone call. Not bad. At this time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were watching the scene backstage. Lin Feng smiled. Sure enough, Déjà would be the best singer for this song. It was still the same flavor as in the previous life. Ahem. Déjà coughed twice and calmed down. Then he said with a smile. Dear audience, is this song good? Good. Great. Déjà raised his hand and pressed it down, signaling the audience to be quiet. Then he spoke. The lyrics of this song are not written by Wenchen this time. The music is not composed by me either. Wow. What? As soon as Déjà said this, the audience went crazy. Lyrics, Wenchen, music, Déjà. This is the perfect combination of Jejo's albums. But the title song was not written by them this time? Exclamation mark. What? Question mark. Everyone was stunned. Then Jejo spoke again. In addition to the title song, there is also a song with a pure Chinese style in the new album. It is not written by me and Wenchen. Oh my god. What's going on? Jejo's words completely ignited the curiosity of the audience. Jejo looked at the audience and slowly said, these two songs were given to me by a good brother of mine. Not only is he good at writing lyrics and composing music, but he also sings very well. He is really awesome. This made the audience even more curious. But some people seem to have thought of something. Oh, not bad. It seems that some friends have thought of it. If you have seen my previous concert in Sichuan province, you should know. That's right, the lyrics and music of these two songs are written by my good brother Mr. Lin Feng. Jejo said loudly. Wow, who is Lin Feng? Oh my god. It turned out to be him. That's not surprising. Hey, who is brother Lin Feng? A boy with acne on his face asked curiously to a thoughtful man with the glasses next to him. The man with the glasses looked at him and said with disdain. Brother, you are out of date. You don't even know Lin Feng. Have you heard of the heavenly sound? The boy with acne on his face thought for a moment and said. The heavenly sound. Oh, you mean the street singer who was very popular on the internet before? Yes, that's right. Lin Feng is the singer of the heavenly sound. He is also Jejo's brother. But unfortunately, he is not from the entertainment industry. So he rarely shows up, and not many people know him. The last time Jejo sang live at a concert, it shocked everyone. A large group of entertainment reporters rushed to block him, but they didn't block him. Otherwise, you should know this person. The man with glasses talked freely, obviously an old fan. Oh my. So many names. This Lin Feng is so awesome. The boy with acne on his face was shocked. The same scene kept playing in the studio. After some people popularized it, everyone now knows who Lin Feng is. Jejo then raised the microphone and said with a smile. Do you want to see Mr. Lin? Mr. Lin? Huh? Yes. The fans in the audience shouted loudly. Oh, not bad. The audience is very enthusiastic. Since everyone wants to see my good brother so much, then I'll call him. Jejo said with a smile. Okay. Call. 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 The audience shouted in unison. Seeing this scene in the backstage, Raymond Lam couldn't help but shook his head and laughed. This Jejo is indeed worthy of being a person in the entertainment industry. This method of livening up the atmosphere can be done with a flick of the wrist. Please ask the staff to help me get a phone on stage. Jejo said with a smile. Soon, a staff in a suit came up on stage with a mobile phone. Jejo took it and said thank you. Then, in front of all the audience, he dialed Raymond Lam's phone and pressed the hands-free key. Beep beep. The sound spread through the microphone. The whole studio could hear the sound. The audience was all quiet at this time, waiting for the call to be connected. At this time, Lin Feng's phone rang in the backstage. Lin Feng smiled helplessly. It's really a call. He had to pick up the phone to cooperate with Jejo. Hello, hello, who is this? Lin Feng pretended not to know and said. Hey, guess who I am? With this accent, it's hard for me not to guess. Lin Feng was a little speechless. Haha, brother Lin Feng, it's me. I'm in Beijing now to hold a promotion meeting for my new album. I'm in Beijing now. Lin Feng said in cooperation. Damn, what a coincidence. That's perfect, my fans and friends want to meet you, do you have time? Jejo said with a smile, really like a friend chatting casually. Forget it, my fiancé and I are shopping here on Wangfu Street. Lin Feng hesitated a little and said. Don't. Brother, you wrote 2 songs in my new album. My fans really want to meet you in person. Audience friends, show your enthusiasm and sincerity. Let my brother Lin Feng know how much you want to meet him. Wow. Mr. Lin, just give in to Zhou. Someone shouted. Boom. Ha ha ha. The voice was very loud, and Raymond Lam heard it clearly through the phone. Raymond Lam was very upset at this moment. Zhou also glanced away and said with a smile. My friend below, you are not right. Ha ha ha. Zhou then continued to speak to the phone. Brother, you heard it too, the fans are very enthusiastic, just give in to me. Ah, Zhang. Damn. If it's you, come over. Ha ha ha. Zhou's words made the audience laugh again. Okay, then I'll ask my fiancée later. If she agrees, we'll go over. Is that okay? Raymond Lam said helplessly. No, give the phone to Yuxi now, I'll tell her, I don't trust you. Zhou said hurriedly. Raymond Lam. Then he handed the phone to Zhang Yuxi beside him and whispered. Cooperate with him, this guy. Zhang Yuxi nodded, picked up the phone and spoke softly. Hello. A clear and pleasant voice came from Zhou's phone and spread throughout the studio. Wow. Everyone at the scene was stunned by the clear and pleasant voice. This voice is obviously a beautiful woman. This is the first thought in everyone's mind. Chapter 993. Buy a house and live in a world of two. Hey, Sister Yuxi, I want to invite Lin Feng to my promotion meeting. This guy said he wants to ask you for permission, is that okay? Zhou said with a smile. Okay. Zhang Yuxi replied with a smile. Okay, you and brother Lin Feng come to the studio on the 3rd floor of Beijing TV station now, I'll ask my assistant to pick you up. Zhou said with a smile. Yeah, okay, see you later. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Okay. Zhou said, and then hung up the phone. Then, he looked at the audience and said with a smile. It's done. Are you looking forward to it? Yes. Everyone said loudly. Zhang Anmin and Li Yangwei, who knew the truth, looked at each other in bewilderment. This city person is really good at playing. The routine is too deep. Mom, I want to go back to the countryside. Then Zhou said with a smile. While my brother hasn't come yet, I'll sing another song. Woo. Yeah. The audience friends in the audience immediately got excited. Next, I'll bring you a song with a pure Chinese-style blue and white porcelain. I hope you will like it. Thank you. Teacher, music, thank you. Then the music accompaniment sounded. Zhou raised the microphone and sang softly. The blank embryo outlines the blue and white strokes, which become thick and light. The peony painted on the bottle is like your first makeup. The sandalwood fragrance rises through the window, and I understand your thoughts. The writing on the rice paper is halfway put down. The lyrics with a strong Chinese style were heard by everyone present. This song is catchy and will definitely be a popular song, just like the previous song Gallon Rain. This made the audience even more curious about Raymond Lam. What kind of person would be able to write such a song? Exclamation mark. Except for a few who have seen Raymond Lam on the scene, most people have never seen him. This made everyone look forward to Raymond Lam's appearance later. Zhou held the microphone and his emotions were integrated into it. When Zhou sang, your beauty drifts away, going to places I can't go. The sky is blue and waiting for the rain, and I'm waiting for you. The lights in the studio suddenly flashed, and Raymond Lam appeared in the center of the stage holding Zhang Yuxi's hand. Wow! There was a sudden commotion in the audience. Zhou's singing also paused. Then he said, oh, not bad. Then he continued to sing. The smoke from the cooking rises, thousands of miles across the river, and the Hanli calligraphy at the bottom of the bottle imitates the elegance of the previous dynasty. Just think of it as my foreshadowing of meeting you. Brother Raymond Lam, come together. Raymond Lam raised the microphone, and the two sang together. The sky is blue and waiting for the rain, and I'm waiting for you. The moonlight was salvaged and blurred the ending. Like the blue and white porcelain handed down from generation to generation, you are beautiful in your own way, with a smile in your eyes. Thank you. Zhou bowed and said. Then he walked towards Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi, smiling and saying, damn it. The sudden appearance of you two really scared me. Hey. Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi smiled. Zhou then introduced them to the audience with a smile. This is my good brother Raymond Lam, and the beautiful lady next to him is his fiancée, Miss Zhang Yuxi. Everyone applaud and welcome him. Wow. Pa. The audience applauded enthusiastically. Wow, this little brother is so handsome. He is handsome and talented, I love him. What are you thinking about? Didn't you see the goddess-like lady next to him? Did you see the rings on their hands? They are an engaged couple. The female fans in the audience whispered. The male fans were screaming. They were amazed by Zhang Yuxi's beauty. Goddess. She is more beautiful than those stars. And pure. Brother Raymond Lam, look, how enthusiastic the fans are. Jejo said to Raymond Lam with a smile. Then he suddenly pointed at a male fan in the audience and said, Hey, the friend with the glasses over there, please be more restrained, your saliva is about to flow out. Wow. Ha ha ha. Everyone was amused by Jejo's words. Then Jejo invited fans to come up and play games together. There was constant laughter at the scene. 2 hours later. Finally, Jejo and Raymond Lam sang a new song from his new album and ended today's new album promotion meeting. Since the new album promotion meeting was live broadcast, Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi also entered the public's eyes. The audience in front of the TV in the country got to know Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi. This pair of golden boy and jade girl made everyone envious and attracted countless fans. However, Raymond Lam and Zhang Yuxi didn't care about this. After all, they didn't plan to enter the entertainment industry. At most, they would be popular for a while, and they would be forgotten slowly after they stopped showing their faces. So the two didn't care too much. After the new album promotion meeting, Jejo also had to sign autographs for fans and handle some finishing work. After Lin Feng greeted him and Li Yangwei, he quietly slipped out of the back door of the TV station. There was no way. The fans at the scene were too enthusiastic. If they didn't leave, they would be surrounded like Jejo. Both of them didn't like this scene, so they slipped away quickly. After the two walked out of the TV station, they went to the parking lot to get the car. After getting in the car, Lin Feng suddenly thought, why not take this time to look at houses, and buy one if it's suitable? After all, it's not convenient to stay in a hotel every day. It's better to have a house of your own and live in a world of two people. Anyway, I will stay in Beijing for at least 4 years in the future. Buy early and move in early. They did it right away. After discussing it, the two drove to the real estate sales center near Tsinghua University and Peking University. Welcome. The two walked into the sales center, and a staff member came up to greet them enthusiastically. With the experience of buying a house last time, the two first went to see the sand table under the guidance of the property consultant. Then they chose a duplex house with fine decoration. Under the guidance of the property consultant, they drove all the way to the community. As soon as she opened the door, Zhang Yuxi fell in love with the house. It was big enough, and the decoration style was simple and fashionable, which suited her taste. There was no need to redecorate it, just buy furniture and tidy it up and you can move in. If you don't need to decorate it, you have to wait another half a year. Seeing Zhang Yuxi's happy face, Lin Feng knew that she had taken a fancy to this house. So he spoke to the property consultant. Hello, how much is this house now? The property consultant hurriedly replied. The current price of this house is 13.99 million. If Mr. Lin wants it, I can use my internal authority to waive the change for Mr. Lin, and the full payment of 13 million will be enough. Chapter 994 God-level cooking skills. Lin Feng nodded. This price is not expensive in Beijing, after all, the location and area are there. Then he looked at Zhang Yuxi, and the two walked aside to discuss it, and finally decided to buy the house in full. At first, Zhang Yuxi was still hesitant. She thought it was too expensive, more than 10 million. But Lin Feng told her that it was okay. Didn't he find a yuan blue and white porcelain bowl worth more than 2,000 before? Just think of it as buying it with money. After listening to Zhang Yuxi, she thought about it and didn't feel so distressed. According to Lin Feng's meaning, making money is to enjoy life anyway. Then the two followed the property consultant back to the sales center to handle the formalities. The property consultant's face was almost smiling like a chrysanthemum. I haven't met such a generous big customer for a long time. After completing the formalities, the two returned to the house again. From now on, this is their new home in Beijing. Zhang Yuxi was extremely excited and happy. Because this place belongs only to her and Lin Feng. For at least the next 4 years, the two will live in it. Zhang Yuxi could already imagine what her life would be like in the future. She smiled foolishly. Then the two of them were in the empty house, excitedly planning the layout of the house. After planning for a long time, they came back to their senses until they were hungry. The two looked at each other and smiled. Lin Feng, I love you. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and said with love. Little fool, I love you too. Lin Feng also said with a doting face. Lin Feng gently hugged Zhang Yuxi in his arms. Their lips touched. It took a long time for the two to separate. Zhang Yuxi's little face was flushed. Lin Feng looked at her with a happy smile. This silly girl has always been so cute. Then the two walked out of the house and closed the door. They left contentedly. Time passed quickly. In the following days, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, as well as Jiang Anmin and Li Yangwei, climbed the Great Wall, visited Tsinghua University and Peking University, and almost visited the capital. Several people completely fell in love with the city. Days passed by. Jiang Anmin and Li Yangwei also returned to the Magic City at the call of their parents. Li Yangwei and Jiang Anmin made an agreement that they would both take the Beijing entrance exam in a year. They would meet again in Beijing. And Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi began to clean up and decorate their love nest. With the hard work of the two. Finally, a few days before the start of the school term at Tsinghua and Peking University, the two officially moved into their new home. After finally adjusting the position of the sofa, Lin Feng patted the dust on his hands and took a long breath. After this period of hard work, the love nest was finally decorated. Lin Feng looked at everything in front of him and was satisfied. All the hard work was worth it. At this time, Zhang Yuxi came over with a glass of water. She helped Lin Feng wipe the sweat off his forehead. She said gently, "Hubby, you've worked hard." Lin Feng took the water handed over by Zhang Yuxi and drank a sip. Then he said gently, "Wife, this will be our home from now on." "Yes." Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly and nodded. She leaned gently in Lin Feng's arms. The two looked at the home that belonged to them, and their hearts were full of happiness. "Honey, let's cook tonight." Zhang Yuxi suddenly raised her head and said to Lin Feng, "Cook? Can you?" Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi, "Oh, I can't." Zhang Yuxi stuck out her tongue and said with a smile, "Oh, I?" Lin Feng was about to say, "I can't do it either." Suddenly, the crisp voice of the system came into his mind. Lin Feng was a little confused. Why did the system move at this time? Ling, congratulations to the host for achieving a new stage of life goal, having a love nest that belongs to the world of two people. Triggering system rewards, rewarding God-level cooking skills. Rewards are being issued, Ling. Rewards are issued successfully. Note 1, how can a perfect life be without the joy of cooking together as a couple? God-level cooking skills will be obtained through memory transmission and muscle-assisted memory function. God-level cooking skills can allow the host to cook far beyond the cooking skills of 5-star chefs. Note 2, God-level cooking ability, proficient in cuisines including mainstream cuisines from all over the world. For example, Chinese food, Western food, and so on. Lin Feng was stunned for a moment, digesting the extra cooking information in his head. At this moment, Lin Feng felt that he could cook any dish. When it comes to cooking, I admit that I am second to none. Oh, how can this system come true as it thinks? This is simply the lamp god ding. Oh, pull open the ding shen ding. Bah. Why is it so hot? In short, it is that ding. Whatever you wish for, it will come true. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng was stunned and didn't speak. She shook Lin Feng's arm and said coquettishly, "Hubby, let's cook our own dishes, okay?" Burp. Lin Feng came back to his senses and looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was acting coquettishly to him. He wanted to reach out and pinch Zhang Yuxi's nose, but suddenly remembered that his hands were dirty, so he smiled. Said with a doting face. Okay. Let's go buy some groceries and cook them ourselves. Let me show you your husband's cooking skills. Really? Yes. That's great. Then, husband, I'll help you. Help wash the vegetables. Zhang Yuxi shouted happily. Yes. Then, I'll wash my hands, and then we'll go out to buy groceries. Lin Feng said with a smile. Okay. Zhang Yuxi responded happily. Then the two of them went out to buy groceries like a newlywed couple. Soon they came to a large supermarket nearby. In the supermarket, Lin Feng pushed the shopping cart, and Zhang Yuxi hugged Lin Feng's arm, looking very happy. After the two walked to the fresh food area, Zhang Yuxi looked at those strange fish and crabs with curiosity. Just like a curious baby. Husband, look, what is this? So cute. Lin Feng looked in the direction Zhang Yuxi pointed. Oh, Cute? Lin Feng was full of black lines at this time. He said helplessly. My dear wife, that is a guaduk. Yes. That's right. And just now Zhang Yuxi actually said that this thing is cute. Oh, hiss. This scene is too beautiful, I dare not look at it. Then, I heard Zhang Yuxi speak. Hubby, let's eat this tonight. Huh? What did you just say? Lin Feng came back to his senses and spoke. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said again. I said let's eat this cute thing tonight. Eat this. How to eat it? Lin Feng said. Chapter 995 Candlelight Dinner. Oh, eat. Hiss. Wife, forget it, let's not eat this, it's not delicious. Lin Feng shook his head, expelling distracting thoughts and said. Ah. Not delicious. Well, let's not eat it. Zhang Yuxi said with some disappointment. Huh? Lin Feng quietly wiped the sweat from his forehead. Then he saw a live grouper over there. More than 100 ways to cook grouper flashed through his mind. So he said. Wife, let's eat fish tonight, this fish is very tender and delicious when steamed. Really? Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up. Like a little greedy cat, he said excitedly. Yes, little greedy cat. Lin Feng scratched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said with a smile. Then Lin Feng picked a large grouper. He bought some beef and other side dishes. Then he picked a few bottles of good red wine and candles, planning to have a warm candlelight dinner. After buying all the seasonings and other things, the two came to the cashier. While waiting in line to pay, Zhang Yuxi suddenly found the raincoat that Lin Feng had bought before next to the cashier. She asked curiously. Honey, here is also the chewing gum you bought before. Then she picked up a box of watermelon flavor and looked at it. Oh, Lin Feng felt guilty, and he hurriedly said. Honey, stop looking, this is not delicious. It's our turn, let's pay. Yes. Zhang Yuxi didn't think much about it. She was about to put it down when she suddenly saw the big words next to it. Condoms. Oh, Zhang Yuxi blushed. She had already reacted. Lin Feng, this bad guy. Lin Feng didn't notice Zhang Yuxi's abnormality, and thought she didn't see it. He took the things to the cashier and paid for it. Zhang Yuxi blushed and kept her head down the whole time. After paying the bill, Lin Feng was about to reach out to hold Zhang Yuxi's hand. Suddenly he found that Zhang Yuxi's little face was flushed. He asked with some confusion. Honey, what's wrong? No, nothing. Zhang Yuxi replied in a panic. Although Lin Feng was somewhat puzzled, he did not think much about it. He smiled and said. Wife, let's go. Let's go home and cook. Okay. Zhang Yuxi also recovered at this time. She smiled sweetly. Then the two held hands and walked towards the community. Soon, they returned to the community. Wife, your husband will show you his skills later, so that you can see how powerful your husband is. Lin Feng said with a smile on his face. Yes. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly while hugging Lin Feng's arm. The two walked into the elevator while talking. Ling. The elevator door opened, and the two walked towards the door of their home with a smile. Catcha. Zhang Yuxi entered the password and opened the door. Lin Feng walked into the kitchen with the dishes. After Zhang Yuxi closed the door, she also walked into the kitchen with me. The kitchen is big enough for two people to operate at will. Wife, I'm going to start. Lin Feng said with a smile. Okay. Zhang Yuxi was also looking forward to it. Then Lin Feng put away the bottles and jars of seasonings and other bottles, and began to process the grouper. When the grouper was bought at the supermarket, it had already been killed. Lin Feng only needed to deal with the fins and cut the fish. Lin Feng picked up the fish, then threw it up, and waved the kitchen knife in the air a few times. The whole fish was processed, and the fish also had the same lines of strength and depth. Zhang Yuxi covered her mouth and was stunned. It was amazing. This was simply an acrobatic performance. It was amazing. She looked at Lin Feng with admiration. After processing the fish, Lin Feng began to cut the beef, doing the same operation. Zhang Yuxi was amazed. She didn't expect Lin Feng to be able to do this. Zhang Yuxi came back to her senses and hurried to help wash the vegetables. After all, it was fun to work together. Chop, chop, chop. Lin Feng chopped the beef rhythmically, intending to use part of the beef to make meatball soup. The rest was used to fry steak. A combination of Chinese and Western, this meal. After a busy period, all the vegetables were cut. Lin Feng lit the pot. First, I used the pig skin to heat the pot. Then I started to really cook. After putting the butter in and slowly melting it, Lin Feng casually patted it, and 2 steaks bounced up and fell into the pot accurately. Then there was a sizzling sound in the pot. The fragrance came out all at once. Then all kinds of side dishes flew together. The whole kitchen was like a magic show. Zhang Yuxi was dazzled by it. It was so magical. Lin Feng was really awesome. Soon, Lin Feng's operation made Zhang Yuxi numb. Half an hour later, the two sat face to face at the dining table. Looking at the steaming dishes in front of her, Zhang Yuxi's eyes were full of stars and her saliva was about to come out. Being able to resist eating secretly was already giving Lin Feng face. Ding dong. At this time, the doorbell rang. Zhang Yuxi was puzzled. Why would someone ring the doorbell? Lin Feng smiled and got up to open the door. It was a delivery man from a flower shop. The flowers that Lin Feng had secretly ordered with his mobile phone while Zhang Yuxi was not paying attention had arrived. Lin Feng paid the money, took the flowers, closed the door and walked back. Ding ding ding. My dear wife, a surprise for you. Lin Feng smiled and took out a big bunch of roses from behind. Wow. Zhang Yuxi covered her face with her hands in shock. After she took the roses from Lin Feng's hand, she kissed Lin Feng on the face. Thank you, husband. I'm so happy. Zhang Yuxi said happily. Lin Feng also smiled happily. Then Lin Feng lit the candles and turned off the lights in the restaurant. He personally poured half a glass of red wine for the two of them. Zhang Yuxi held her face with both hands and looked at Lin Feng busy with happiness. This kind of life is perfect and happy, just as she imagined. Then the two faced each other and smiled. Lin Feng raised his red wine glass and said softly, Wife, happy housewarming. Yes, happy housewarming. Zhang Yuxi also raised her wine glass and said with a smile. Clink. The two gently clinked their glasses and took a sip. Zhang Yuxi stuck out her tongue, not quite used to it. This was her first time drinking. Hey. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's cute look and couldn't help but smile. Wife, eat quickly. Come, try this fish. Lin Feng picked up a piece of fish and put it in Zhang Yuxi's bowl. Thank you, husband. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Then she picked up the fish and put it in her mouth. So delicious. It tastes amazing. Her eyes lit up. Wow. It's so delicious. Zhang Yuxi said in surprise. She felt that this was the most delicious fish she had eaten in such a long time. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's surprised look and smiled. Then he put some vegetables in Zhang Yuxi's bowl. Chapter 996 happens naturally and beautifully. Little idiot, eat quickly, it won't taste good if it gets cold. Lin Feng said with a doting look on his face. Yes. Zhang Yuxi lowered her head and was busy eating the dishes. It was really delicious. Every dish was super delicious. Seeing Zhang Yuxi eating the dishes fiercely, Lin Feng had no choice but to speak again. Little idiot, chew slowly. Don't choke. Zhang Yuxi looked up and smiled, and then slowed down. Then the two of them ate and chatted, and soon the whole table of dishes was wiped out. They also drank more than half a bottle of red wine on the table. Zhang Yuxi was drunk, and her little face was flushed. She touched her belly and said a little aggrieved. Lin Feng, it's all your fault. You made me eat so much, it's like I'm pregnant. Oh. Lin Feng smiled bitterly with some helplessness. This little idiot even blamed himself. So he planned to tease Zhang Yuxi. What? Pregnant? Haha, then let your husband listen to see if the baby is calling daddy. Lin Feng said jokingly. Zhang Yuxi was shy all of a sudden, and her already red face became even redder. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng, and then said in a tender voice. Dad? Oh. Now it was Lin Feng's turn to be embarrassed. He didn't expect Zhang Yuxi to do this. Since she asked her to call her dad last time, Zhang Yuxi would occasionally say daddy, which made Lin Feng unable to respond. Lululu. Zhang Yuxi made a face at Lin Feng. Her little face was red and she looked so cute. Lin Feng looked at her like that and couldn't help but came forward and kissed her on the face. After a short break, the two turned on the lights and cleaned up the table. The two washed the dishes in the kitchen and played around. After washing the dishes, both of them were covered in bubbles. Looking at each other's embarrassed appearance, both of them couldn't help laughing. Hey. Zhang Yuxi smiled happily. After laughing for a while, Zhang Yuxi suddenly whispered. Honey, let's go take a shower. Lin Feng was a little surprised. Does this mean we should go together? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi suspiciously, wanting to see if she was going to do something bad again. After watching for a long time, he couldn't figure it out. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him and said in a delicate voice, "Let's go." Then she pushed Lin Feng out of the kitchen. Lin Feng was a little surprised. Is this for real? He thought to himself, did Zhang Yuxi drink tonight? How come she, who is usually so shy, became so bold tonight? It seems that we have to prepare more wine at home in the future, and we can drink a little when we have nothing to do. Lin Feng said happily while walking. After returning to the master bedroom, Zhang Yuxi walked towards the bathroom, and Lin Feng followed her. Lin Feng's heart was beating non-stop. He was a little excited about what was going to happen next. The moment Zhang Yuxi walked into the bathroom, bang! Zhang Yuxi closed the bathroom door. He, big fool. Zhang Yuxi's laughing voice came from the bathroom door. Oh. Lin Feng looked at the bathroom door in front of him, a little dazed. When he came to his senses, he was full of black lines. This little fool actually dared to play a trick on him. Humph. Wait and see how I deal with her. 20 minutes later, Zhang Yuxi came out of the shower. She looked at Lin Feng with a smile on her face. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at her and pounced on her. Okay. You dare to tease your husband, let me see how I deal with you. Ah! Zhang Yuxi screamed, jumped onto the bed and got into the quilt. You're so lucky. I've just finished taking a shower, and you're so dirty and smelly. Go take a shower first. Zhang Yuxi covered her head with a quilt and shouted. Humph, do you know you're wrong? Do you dare to tease your husband next time? Lin Feng said with a proud look on his face. I was wrong, husband, I know I was wrong, I don't dare to do it again, never again. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly admitted her mistake and begged for mercy. I'll forgive you this time, but if you do it again next time, you will be punished by family law. Lin Feng pretended to be vicious and said. Then Lin Feng got up to take a shower. Zhang Yuxi waited for a while and saw no movement. Zhang Yuxi quietly poked her head out of the quilt. Seeing that Lin Feng had already taken a shower, she said coquettishly. Humph. This big bad guy. He only knows how to bully people all day long. Then Zhang Yuxi got out of the quilt. She turned on the projector in the bedroom, selected a youth love story movie on the computer, clicked play, and watched it casually. This projector was installed after Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi discussed it. It is convenient for the two to watch movies in the quilt in winter. After all, although there is heating in the winter in Beijing, the sofa in the living room is not as comfortable as the quilt. This will be her and Lin Feng's home in the future. Zhang Yuxi felt a sense of accomplishment in her heart. Because everything in this house was arranged by Lin Feng and himself. 10 minutes later, Lin Feng came out of the bathroom with a bath towel around him and wiping his hair. When Zhang Yuxi saw him, her little face flushed. She covered her eyes with her hands and said, Why did you come out like this? Lin Feng smiled. He said with a joking face. Little fool, we are already an old couple, what else would I do? Gua, big bad guy. Ha ha ha. Your beard pricked me. Zhang Yuxi said while laughing. Ha ha ha. Lin Feng laughed loudly. The two of them started to play around. Lin Feng stood up and was about to tickle Zhang Yuxi. Swish. Lin Feng's bath towel fell off in the action. Oh. Zhang Yuxi was stunned. Lin Feng was also stunned. Zhang Yuxi covered her little face and got into the quilt. Lin Feng awkwardly picked up the bath towel and wrapped it around him again. This time, the two of them didn't play around. Lin Feng lay beside Zhang Yuxi, and the two of them were silent. Zhang Yuxi relaxed for a moment and stuck her head out of the quilt. The two looked at each other. Zhang Yuxi's face was flushed, as if she had not yet worn off from the alcohol. Lin Feng, on the other hand, looked embarrassed, touched his nose and spoke. Haha, surprise, surprise. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at him and said nothing more. The movie on the wall was still playing. The movie seemed to have reached a stage that was not suitable for children, and the picture seemed a little ambiguous. The two looked at each other and saw some strange looks in each other's eyes. Lin Feng, turn off the lights. Zhang Yuxi said in a low voice, a little shy. Snap. Lin Feng didn't say anything. He just turned off the switch at the head of the bed. Everything that happened afterwards happened so naturally and beautifully. Chapter 997. You are the only one in my heart. A long time later. Zhang Yuxi leaned on Lin Feng's arms, and the two watched the movie playing on the wall in a loop. Zhang Yuxi called softly. Hubby. What's wrong, my dear wife? Lin Feng asked gently. Nothing, I just wanted to call you. Zhang Yuxi smiled and said. Hey, little fool. I know what you mean. Don't worry, you are the only one in my life, and I will never change until I die. Lin Feng said firmly. Yes, hubby, I believe you. Zhang Yuxi said softly. Little fool. If there is really an afterlife, I will still find you in the crowd. For generations. Never change my mind. Wife, let's get married after graduation. Lin Feng still said firmly. Yes, Lin Feng, I will not marry anyone else in this life. So, don't let me down. Otherwise, I will let my dad break your 5 limbs. Zhang Yuxi said the most cruel words in the most gentle tone. Oh, silly wife, how could that be possible? Your husband is the kind of loyal person. Don't worry. Lin Feng quietly wiped the sweat from his forehead and patted his chest and said. Yes, husband, I believe you. The night is beautiful tonight. The moon quietly emerged from the clouds, as if congratulating the newlyweds for completing the most important ceremony in their lives. Husband, I feel really happy now. You spoil me, love me, and care for me. I feel that I am the happiest woman in the world. Zhang Yuxi was sleepy, and her voice sounded in Lin Feng's ears as if she was talking to herself. Okay, little fool, we will always be happy. Okay, go to sleep quickly. Lin Feng gently touched Zhang Yuxi's face and spoke softly. Then the two of them were warm for a while. The night breeze came through the window, gently, bringing a little sleepiness. The two hugged each other and fell asleep. A slight, steady breathing sound sounded. Soon, they fell asleep deeply. The corners of their mouths were sweet in their dreams. Even the whole air was filled with a sweet and happy atmosphere. Early the next morning, Lin Feng woke up. He picked up his phone to check the time. It was already 8 o'clock in the morning. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi, who was still sleeping soundly, and he smiled gently. He tiptoed out of bed gently. Lin Feng planned to get up and make some porridge for Zhang Yuxi. After all, Zhang Yuxi worked hard last night. She just became a wife and needed to rest well. Lin Feng kissed Zhang Yuxi on the forehead gently, and then picked up the bed sheet with a little red on it. Lin Feng smiled and quietly walked out of the bedroom. After putting the bed sheet into the washing machine, Lin Feng went to the kitchen to start making porridge. Chop, chop, chop. After another dazzling operation, Lin Feng got all the ingredients ready. The porridge has begun to boil. Lin Feng thought about it and took out flour from the locker, planning to make a steamed bun. More than half an hour later, the porridge was boiled and the steamed dumplings were steamed. Lin Feng clapped his hands. He went to wash up. After washing up, Lin Feng went upstairs, opened the door and walked in. He sat down in front of the bed and gently pinched Zhang Yuxi's nose. Zhang Yuxi frowned, then slowly opened her eyes. As soon as she opened her eyes, Lin Feng's gentle and handsome face came into view. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Husband, good morning wife, good morning. Lin Feng also responded gently. Little lazy pig, get up, breakfast will be ready soon. Lin Feng scratched Zhang Yuxi's nose and said with a smile. I want a hug. Zhang Yuxi stretched out her hands and said coquettishly. Okay, hug. Lin Feng gently picked up Zhang Yuxi. As soon as Zhang Yuxi's feet landed on the ground, she staggered. Hiss. Husband, a little. Zhang Yuxi frowned and said aggrievedly. Oh, it's all my husband's fault. I'll carry you to wash up. Lin Feng said with some distress. Yes. Zhang Yuxi's frown relaxed and she nodded. Then Lin Feng carried her to wash up. After Zhang Yuxi finished washing up, Lin Feng carried her to the restaurant. After putting her on the chair, he hurried into the kitchen to check the fire. Lin Feng opened the porridge and took a look. It was already very soft, it was ready. The steamed dumplings were also steamed. Lin Feng brought the things to the dining table. Looking at the hot dumplings and porridge, the fragrance spread before they started to eat. Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up and her appetite was whetted. She had experienced Lin Feng's cooking skills yesterday, and it was simply irresistible. She looked at Lin Feng with admiration, like a little fangirl. Husband, how come you know everything, and you're so good? Oh, hey. That's because your husband is a genius, hey. Lin Feng was stunned, and then said shamelessly. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng. This stinky guy is really not modest at all. But, to be honest, Lin Feng is really amazing. He is simply an all-round husband. But no matter how amazing he is still my husband, Zhang Yuxi. Hey. Zhang Yuxi was thinking wildly. Then, the two of them had a beautiful breakfast, chatting while eating, just like a daily life of a young couple. In the next few days, the two of them stayed at home every day to plant flowers and feed fish. Occasionally, they went out to the supermarket to buy vegetables. The days were extremely leisurely and comfortable. And Zhang Yuxi's body had long recovered under Lin Feng's careful care. Both of them were good at eating and fighting on time every night. Every time, Zhang Yuxi was defeated and begged for mercy. But she was defeated again and again, and she still provoked Lin Feng the next day. Then she was defeated again at night, repeating every day, and the two of them had a lot of fun. Fortunately, Lin Feng had the physique of a first-level soldier in the special forces, otherwise he would have had to walk with the help of the wall. As expected, there are only cows that die of exhaustion, but no fields that are plowed to death. The ancients were not wrong. Days passed by. The relationship between Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi became deeper and deeper, and they were really like a young couple, loving each other. On this day, the first day of school for freshmen at Peking University and Tsinghua University was finally here. "Honey, school will start tomorrow," Zhang Yuxi said casually while sitting on the sofa eating fruit. Yeah, I forgot to prepare for school these 2 days. So we have moved to our new home for 3 or 4 days, and it always feels like a long time has passed." Lin Feng was stunned, and then smiled and said, "School starts tomorrow, and I heard that there are many beautiful girls in Peking University and Tsinghua University. If you dare to flirt with me, Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with a smile and hummed. "Oh, my dear wife, how is that possible? I have been wearing the engagement ring on your hands all the time. Besides, there's only you in my heart, how can there be room for anyone else?" Lin Feng quickly expressed his feelings. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 998. The Flower Has a Master. "Yeah, husband, you are the best to me." Zhang Yuxi threw down the apple in her hand, threw herself on Lin Feng, kissed him on the face, and said sweetly, "Of course. My husband's greatest luck in this life is to be with you. My little fool." Lin Feng continued to bombard him with sweet words. "Yeah, husband, me too." Zhang Yuxi raised her little head and nodded seriously. Then she hugged Lin Feng tighter. "Husband, then do we still live in the dormitory?" Zhang Yuxi suddenly asked. "Well, it is said that if we don't live in the dormitory, we have to go through a series of procedures to apply for day study procedures, which is very troublesome. Let's do this. Anyway, the university does not check the dormitories at night, and it is not mandatory to stay in the dormitory, so we still pay the accommodation fee, and then we can come back if we want to go home, and live in the dormitory if we don't want to go back. Besides, living in the dormitory at university can also enhance the relationship with classmates and make some new friends. People on the internet say that university dormitory life is very interesting, so how can a perfect university life be without dormitory life?" Lin Feng thought about it and said with a smile. "Yeah, since you can also come back home to live, then there is no problem. Let's live in the school during the period before the start of the school, make some friends first, and get familiar with the environment. And we have to do military training." Zhang Yuxi nodded and expressed her opinion after listening to what Lin Feng said. "Yeah, I almost forgot, there is also military training." Lin Feng nodded. Then the two of them decided. Living in the dormitory during the period before the start of the school, after all, there is military training. Living in the school is more convenient. After the military training is over, we will go back home when the classes officially start. Then the two of them went to wash up. After all, they have to report to school early tomorrow morning. After washing up, the two of them had a big fight as usual, and then hugged each other to sleep. They fell asleep quickly. There was no conversation all night. Early the next morning, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were awakened by the alarm clock. After the two got up and washed up, they had a loving breakfast carefully prepared by Lin Feng. The two changed their clothes, picked up their luggage and went downstairs. When they arrived at the parking lot, it was still Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500. After the two got on the car, Lin Feng habitually helped Zhang Yuxi fasten her seat belt. Then, he started the car. Boom! The engine of the Mercedes-Benz G500 roared. Lin Feng smiled at Zhang Yuxi and stepped on the accelerator. The car drove out of the parking lot quickly. After leaving the gate of the community, it headed towards Tsinghua University and Peking University. When they arrived at the gate of Tsinghua University and Peking University, they saw a banner hanging at the school gate, which read "Welcome freshmen to report to the school." Lin Feng drove to the gate. After the security guard asked and knew that they were freshmen who came to report, he let them pass. According to the security uncle, the two drove all the way to the place where freshmen registered. Zhang Yuxi's is Tsinghua University and Peking University School of Finance, while Lin Feng is the School of Computer Science. Lin Feng planned to accompany Zhang Yuxi to register first, and then report to the School of Computer Science. After the two parked the car, they pulled their luggage and walked hand in hand to the place where they registered. As soon as the two walked to the place where they registered, they attracted the attention of others. There is no way. Zhang Yuxi looks like a fairy, so beautiful. And Lin Feng is also tall and handsome. The two walked hand in hand, like a pair of golden boys and jade girls. It was hard not to attract attention. Zhang Yuxi noticed that someone was looking at her and Lin Feng, and her little face flushed slightly. Lin Feng, on the other hand, had a calm face, and the benefits of being thick-skinned could be reflected at this time. As soon as the two approached, a senior sister came up to greet them enthusiastically. A senior sister wearing glasses said with a smile on her face, "Junior brother, junior sister, hello, are you here to report?" "Yes." Zhang Yuxi nodded. "Then, you two are from the School of Finance, right? After paying the fees here and checking the class, I will take you to the dormitory later." The senior sister wearing glasses said with a smile. She is from the School of Finance, and I am not. I am from the School of Computer Science. I will accompany her to register and report first, and help her carry her luggage to the dormitory, and then I will report." Lin Feng said slowly. "Oh, is that so? Okay, you two come with me." The glasses-wearing senior was stunned for a moment, then smiled and said. Soon Zhang Yuxi paid the tuition and completed the registration. Then it was time to choose a dormitory. The school arranges several types of dormitories, including 8-person rooms, 4-person rooms, and no more. Different dormitories have different prices. Individuals choose according to their own circumstances. It is said that there were single apartments in the past, but now they are gone. It is said that it cultivates students' sense of unity. Lin Feng naturally helped Zhang Yuxi choose a 4-person room. After all, a 4-person room has just the right number of people. Anyway, it's not a big deal, so why bother yourself? Afterwards, the two came to the School of Computer Science. The two caused a commotion again. There is no way. The School of Computer Science is almost full of boys, a group of bachelors who are as fierce as wolves and tigers. Zhang Yuxi's appearance is so good that it is impossible not to cause a sensation. Oh my god. Goddess. Oh my god. Is this from our college? Fuck, is our bachelor college going to turn things around? But it seems like the beauty has a boyfriend. I really want to be the guy next to her. What the hell are you dreaming about? Don't you know how handsome he is and how ugly you are? Zhang Yuxi tightly grasped Lin Feng's arm. She was a little shy and a little nervous. Lin Feng gently patted the back of her hand, indicating that it was okay and not to be nervous. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at the boys who were talking with a cold face. Burp. The discussion stopped abruptly. So everyone was stunned by Lin Feng's eyes. This guy doesn't seem to be easy to mess with. Everyone had the same idea in their hearts. At this time, a senior from the School of Computer Science ran over. She smiled and said, "Junior brother, junior sister, are you a freshman who came here to report?" "Yes." Lin Feng's face returned to normal and he nodded. "Junior, they were talking about you two just now, but they didn't mean any harm, so don't take it personally," the senior sister said with a little hesitation. "Yes." Lin Feng nodded without saying much. Then the senior sister took Lin Feng to register. After completing the formalities, Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and they left. Everyone then realized that Zhang Yuxi was not from their School of Computer Science. So everyone looked disappointed. They thought they could get rid of the eternal reputation of the School of Computer Science as having no beauties. Although the goddess is already taken, it's still pleasing to the eyes. In the end, Alice. Chapter 999, Meeting New Roommates. The two walked towards the female dormitory of the School of Finance. Zhang Yuxi suddenly said, "Lin Feng, the look in your eyes just now is so manly." "Oh, this little fool, what is he talking about?" Isn't it the right thing to protect your wife? Who told them to scare my wife? I'm giving them face by not beating them up. Then Lin Feng smiled and said softly. Your eyes were so fierce just now. But I like it so much. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile on her face. Little fool. Lin Feng glanced down and rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head with a smile. Oh, you messed up my hair. Zhang Yuxi pushed Lin Feng's hand away and said coquettishly. The two of them started to play and fight as they walked. Laughter rang out in the campus. Soon they arrived at the female dormitory. After asking the dormitory manager to help carry the luggage upstairs, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi went upstairs after getting permission. When they opened the dormitory door, someone had already arrived inside. Hi, hello. The person inside heard the noise and turned around to see Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng. She smiled and greeted them. Hello. Lin Feng said with a smile. Then Lin Feng found Zhang Yuxi's bed, put her things on it, and prepared to make her bed. Lin Feng, why don't you go back to the dormitory first? I'll clean it up later. Zhang Yuxi said shyly. After all, there are outsiders. Haha, little silly, it's okay, it will be quick. Soon Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi make the bed. He clapped his hands, glanced at the shy Zhang Yuxi, and smiled. The girl just now looked at the two of them with curiosity. Then Lin Feng remembered that he hadn't asked the girl's name yet. So he turned around and smiled and said to the girl. My classmate, I forgot to ask, what is your name? Haha, my name is Xiaoyu. The girl said with a smile. Oh. Lin Feng's mind suddenly popped up a classic line from his previous life. Your Majesty. Do you still remember Xiaoyu by dreamlike? Xiaoyu. Lin Feng spoke slowly. Hello, my name is Lin Feng, she is Zhang Yuxi, also my fiancée. From now on, you two will be roommates. I hope you can help take care of her, thank you very much. Zhang Yuxi was shy. Her face was flushed. Lin Feng smiled, this little fool, still blushed so easily. Fiancé. You guys. Xiaoyu covered her mouth in surprise and said. Haha, yes, that's right, Yuxi and I are already engaged. Lin Feng smiled and said. Oh, there is no need to take care of or not, we are all classmates, help each other in the future. Xiaoyu came back from the shock and said with a smile. After that, the few of them chatted for a while, and after Lin Feng told Zhang Yuxi a few words, he prepared to go back to his dormitory. After all, school has started, and everyone has to go to class, and it is impossible to stick together every moment like before. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head, then turned and left. When he reached the door, Lin Feng suddenly turned back and asked Xiaoyu. Xia classmate, is your hometown in Kinnan, Eastern Province? Yes. Xiaoyu glanced and then nodded. Hey. Nothing, just asking casually. Lin Feng said with a smile. Then he looked at Zhang Yuxi and spoke gently. Wife, I have to go. If you have anything, call me and I will come right away. Yes. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly and nodded. Seeing her cute appearance, Lin Feng turned around and smacked her on the face, then turned around and left in a chick manner. Only Zhang Yuxi was left standing there stupidly, blushing. Zhang Yuxi stood there and looked at Lin Feng's disappearing back, feeling a little lost in her heart. What? Everyone has gone far away. Still looking. Just after the school started, this dog food was forced into me. It's so hard for me. Xiaoyu walked up and said. The boldness and straightforwardness of the people of Dong province were all reflected in her. Oh. Zhang Yuxi's face turned even redder. She said shyly. We will be roommates in the future, please take care of me. Help each other, we will be sisters in the future. Xiaoyu said generously. She was very curious about Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng. Then the two chatted. On the other side, after Lin Feng went downstairs, he picked up his suitcase and walked towards the boys' dormitory building of the School of Computer Science. Coincidentally, the two colleges are not far away. After walking for 10 minutes, Lin Feng arrived at the downstairs of the boys' dormitory building of the School of Computer Science. Lin Feng looked at the door of the boys' dormitory in front of him, smiled, and then walked in with his luggage. After taking the elevator with his luggage to the 4th floor, turning left and right, he arrived in front of the door of dormitory 405. The door was open. Lin Feng walked in with his suitcase. Hello. Seeing that there were already two people in the dormitory, Lin Feng smiled and greeted them. Hello. The two looked at Lin Feng and said with a smile. After that, Lin Feng casually looked at the two people in front of him. One of them was tall and looked like a basketball player. The other was thin and small, wearing a pair of glasses, and looked gentle. Hello, my name is Lin Feng, from Shanghai. Lin Feng smiled and introduced himself. Hello, my name is Chen Kun, from LC City, East Province. The tall boy said. Hello, my name is Sui, from Chaozhou City, Guangdong Province. The thin man with the glasses spoke in a not-so-standard Mandarin. Then the three of them stretched out their hands and shook hands. After chatting for a few words, Lin Feng found his bed and made the bed. 20 minutes later, when it was almost done, Lin Feng clapped his hands. Huh? He took a breath. Brother Lin Feng, want one? Chen Kun took out a pack of Nanjing 95 Supreme from his pocket, popped out a cigarette and handed it to Lin Feng. Lin Feng thought about it and took it, although he didn't have a smoking addiction now, so it didn't matter whether he smoked or not. But after all, it was the first time someone offered a cigarette, so it was hard to refuse. Well, it was mainly because Raymond Lam wanted to smoke, haha. Then Chen Kun handed another cigarette to Suhi. Suhi also took it casually, took out a lighter from his pocket, lit it, and blew a smoke ring skillfully. Brother, 95, this cigarette is good. Suhi took a few puffs and said casually in his not-so-standard Mandarin. I stole it from my dad before coming to school. Chen Kun said with a smile. Oh, ha ha ha. The three looked at each other and then laughed. The three stood on the balcony of the dormitory, smoking and chatting, and the distance between them was shortened a lot. Sure enough, these men play together. Smoking and drinking is the fastest way to get closer. Chapter 1000, Start College Life. I guess the last guy who came is a rich second generation, high profile, and probably went clubbing last night and forgot about reporting today. Chen Kun said slowly. Lin Feng. Suhi. Now it was the two's turn to be speechless. This guy just said that Suhi's guess was outrageous, but his own guess was not much better. Then the two looked at Lin Feng with curiosity. I guess this brother should be a local of Beijing, and his personality should be easygoing and easy to get along with. The reason for coming late is probably that his home is close and he is not in a hurry. Lin Feng said casually. Oh. Chen Kun and Suhi looked at each other, feeling a little helpless. This Lin Feng's guess was too casual, too ordinary. Then the few people continued to chat, just talking about wanting to go out for a meal together tonight, and the dormitory people got along well. The door of the dormitory was pushed open. A boy of medium build and handsome appearance walked in with a suitcase. When he came in, the boy smelled a strong smell of cigarettes. Then he saw the three people on the balcony. He smiled and said, Hey, brothers are here, you three are going to draw now. The three of them turned around when they heard the voice. A handsome man in a sports suit caught their eyes. The three of them looked at each other. Yes, judging from his accent, he is really from Beijing. Then several people introduced themselves. The handsome man said, My name is Chen Dongyun, a local from Beijing, and my family lives nearby. Why are you so late today? Suhi said casually. Hey, don't mention it, I thought I lived nearby, so I thought it would be okay to come late, but it turned out that there was a traffic jam all the way after 20 minutes of going out, and it was almost blocked outside the 5th Ring Road. Oh. Chen Kun and Suhi looked at each other. Yes. The position of the boss is gone. Raymond Lam got all the answers. Oh, brother, before you came, we made a bet to guess your information and personality. Whoever guessed the closest will be the boss of the dormitory in the future, and the other two will be the second and third. And you came the latest, you are the youngest. Don't mind it. Chen Kun said a little embarrassedly. Hey, it's not a big deal, don't mind it. I'm the only one in my family. I have always envied others for having brothers since I was a child. Now I have 3 at once, which feels good. From now on, you brothers will protect me. Chen Dongyun waved his hand casually. Oh, by the way, whoever guessed the closest will be the boss. Chen Dongyun asked curiously. It's him. Chen Kun and Suhi pointed at Lin Feng and said in unison. Oh, Lin Feng, hello, boss. Chen Dongyun smiled and shouted to Lin Feng. Then he looked at Chen Kun and Suhi. Then who is the second and who is the third among you two? Oh. Then the two compared their ages. Chen Kun is slightly older than Suhi. So Chen Kun is the second oldest and Suhi is the third oldest. After chatting for a while, The three of them planned to go out together in the evening to keep in touch? Lin Feng hesitated and nodded. He planned to pick up Zhang Yuxi later to go shopping with her, send her back to the dormitory, and then go out to eat with the dormitory in the evening. So far, Lin Feng has become the boss of the 405 dormitory. 4 years of college life have begun. Then after chatting with the dormitory for a while, Lin Feng planned to find Zhang Yuxi and go shopping with her first. So he picked up his phone and walked outside the dormitory to call Zhang Yuxi. Beep beep. Hello, Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi called sweetly on the other end of the phone. She just left Lin Feng for a while, and she missed Lin Feng a little, and she was not used to it. What did you call me? Lin Feng said with a smile. Oh, husband. Zhang Yuxi said softly on the other end of the phone, afraid that others would hear it. Hey. My dear wife, I'll go find you now and take you to buy daily necessities. Lin Feng said with a smile. Oh, my roommates seem to have said they want to go together. Zhang Yuxi said hesitantly. Oh, is that so? Then how about this, I'll drive them along, it's more convenient. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Then, I'll ask their opinions. Zhang Yuxi said after thinking for a while. Then she walked back to the dormitory from the balcony and whispered to the three people in the dormitory. Well, I'm going to buy daily necessities with my guy later, do you want to come with me? Huh? The other two people in the dormitory who didn't know about it were a little surprised. Xiaoyu said with a smile. Okay. It's just right for us Yurao and Yair to meet the fiancé of our beautiful Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed all the way to her ears. She rolled her eyes at Xiaoyu, then walked out of the balcony with her phone. Xiaoyu continued to speak in the dormitory. Let me tell you too, Yuxi's fiancé is so handsome. When you two were not here just now, he came over to help Yuxi make the bed, and gave her a kiss before leaving. I've been fed a mouthful of dog food. Ah. I'm such a single dog. Zhang Yuxi chose to ignore Xiaoyu's words. She spoke softly to the phone. Honey, they agreed. When are we going? Well, let's go now. You and the others go downstairs and wait for me. I'll drive the car over to pick you up. Lin Feng said with a smile. He also heard what Xiaoyu said in the dormitory just now. In this case, I'll teach them a lesson later and let them know what real dog abuse is. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.